go. So everything's looking good. Golly, there's a big shadow on me. Let me move this light over here. Maybe that'll get rid of it. That doesn't need to be as bright either.
Started my computer, so
Okay, cool.
hopefully it'll work.
It should. Oh, I forgot with the, are my shirts backwards on YouTube or TikTok? I don't remember either.
I'll be able to tell you here in just a minute.
Yeah, I think it was, I think it's YouTube. Hey, Tara Reef is in the house. There we go. First person in the stream. What's up, man? Hope you're having a good day. Hope everything's going well over on your end. Maybe I should have cleaned my glasses. They're all right. Backwards on YouTube, he says. Yeah, I forget. Yeah, I have another shirt where I had this printed in reverse, so it looks correct, but I'm not going to get it. It just is what it is. So we're just gonna deal with what we have. Yo, what's going on, Sean? Hey, man, nice to see you. Happy to see you here. We'll get this thing rolling here in a few minutes. As soon as a few more people show up, get some questions going and whatnot. Man, we were good, and then last night, I don't know, at some point about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, like a cold front came through, and it dropped like 20 degrees and started raining. Boo! So not good. Hello, Noel. Nice to see you here. Thanks so much for joining the stream. Hope everybody's doing good on this Sunday. We're just going to hang out, talk reefing, answer some questions, check out my tank, which looks really. This Sunday, we're just gonna hang out, talk reefing, stand by. Technical difficulties.
Okay.
There we go. The tank looks really green right now, but it's just the way that the camera is picking up the lighting. I actually have it set to like a really normal, natural coloration. There you are. It popped through. Piece of a reef. You said hello, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, just making sure that was you.
Am I still? It's got the little thing by my name.
Yeah.
It's still got me as an admin. Okay. So
Yeah.
I can put links and stuff.
Yeah, you're good. So cool. But yeah, so the weather went kind of crappy. It's still kind of crappy outside. The sun's trying to come out, but it's still a little bit cooler. And yeah, so is what it is. Do you want to jump on the post in the Facebook group and share the live stream? That would maybe help get some people in here.
Do it on the post that you made earlier.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so tank's doing good. I've got some issues with some of my euphilia down here. I think they're not liking the water parameters. My nitrate and phosphate are still low. Alkalinity is still falling. After the stream today, I'm probably going to start handling up on that. I'm going to have to start dosing nitrate and dosing phosphate, or excuse me, alkalinity. Phosphate I'm not too worried about, so I'm just going to feed a little heavier for that. What's going on, Camaro? Nice to see you here. Thanks so much for joining. But yeah, I've got some euphilia over here. That one's fine. That one's fine. These three right here are fine, but there's one there, and one down here in the front that are kind of pissed. There's really no other reason. ICP test checks out fine. Everything's looking good. As far as that goes and all my parameters and stuff, my other stuff is all exactly where I want it to be. But nitrate, phosphate, and alkalinity are dropping. So I've got to offset that. I've got a 4-port doser, a Jabo 4-port doser that I just got from a friend yesterday. I'm going to be getting that installed on the tank probably tomorrow. And of course, all this happens right before I have to leave and go to Reefapalooza at the end of the week. So we're going to be leaving on Thursday. So I've got the rest of today, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to get all this fixed before we leave. And you know, it's never a good idea to like make big changes to your tank before you go on vacation, especially with things like dosers and stuff. So I'm not exactly sure how I want to deal with that just yet. It's only dropping 5 DKH alkalinity a week. So I feel like if I get it back up over the next 3 days, it'll be okay till we get back. And it's not super low. It's like 8.3 right now. So it's okay. Do you want your own website? I already have my own website. Thank you for asking. It is reefrookies.com. Very cool. King Julian voice. I don't know if I could actually do that. I just typed it because it was funny. I don't know. We'll see if we can throw that in at some point. Can we ban the Carango whatever person? How dare you come in here and call me bald? That is obviously not true. I'm not bald. I have hair. See? Anyway, do I miss my hair? Yes, I miss my hair quite a bit. I talk about that almost daily, as a matter of fact. This is not a choice. This is nature doing what nature does. So yeah, anyway. What you guys got going on with your tanks? Oh, by the way, John, I don't know if you can see it. You can't. Let me move the camera a little bit. There it is. Looks a little weird right now with the coloration, but that Australian gold is right there, and that dude is super happy. He is mega happy. Oh, ban the Donald Trump dude, whatever. Jeez, let's just ban those people. Am I drinking booze? No, this is water. Definitely not booze. But yeah, happy Sunday. Nice to see you guys here. So what else is going on? The tank that's over here, my little sea cardinal tank over here, not doing great. Has dinoflagellates. I'm trying to see if tropic marine nitrobiotic will take care of them. Oh my gosh, we got another one. The Yuri is doing the same thing. But yeah, the sea cardinal has the dinos in it, trying to see if nitrobiotic will knock that out just by dosing just that. Doesn't look like it's going to so far. Didn't expect that it really would. There's been several people recently who have claimed, wow, man. I don't know. It got pushed out to the crazy land of people just spamming the comments with dumb stuff. Best place to buy a starter anemone. Well, really, I wouldn't say that there's a best place. You need to be able to identify and pick a healthy anemone when you go to find one. I always recommend supporting local fish stores if you have one. If you don't have one, man, probably Worldwide Corals would be a good place to try to find one. But any NIM that you go get from a store should be, you have to stop with that. Thank you. Any NIM that you go to get from a store or anything like that, it should be very healthy. It should be out. Colors should be up. If you see an anemone that is like highlighter green or transparent or whatever, that NIM is bleached. Don't buy that. You want to buy one that, oh, good gosh, man. The comments today are just something. You want to buy one that is colored up. Don't buy one that isn't colored up. And it also should be sticky. What's the propaganda of the stream? There is no propaganda. I teach people how to have saltwater aquariums. Jeez. Hang on. Let me try to make my comments bigger. There is a way for me to do that, but it's not letting me do it because they're kind of hard. Terra Reef has 1 to 2 red bubble tips left. Okay, I didn't know you had any bubble tips. So, yeah, Terra Reef is a Reef Rookies approved vendor. So definitely go to the website and check out what they've got going on. Hang on, I got to try to get these comments where I can read them better. But for some reason, it's not letting me do it. So the comments are really tiny to me. So just bear with me. But yeah, Terra Reef could get you a good anemone. That would be a good way to go. Introduced a hammer a couple weeks ago. Cool. Hammers are fun. I like hammers. Is not drip acclimating corals or anemones is not drip acclimating corals or anemones enough to kill them? It could be if your parameters are really far off from the water parameters that are in the bag from the fish store where you got them from. It's always a good idea to ask the store or the place where you got your corals from what their water parameters are so you can see how far off yours are from theirs. If things are pretty close, there's not even a need to drip acclimate. Just temp acclimate them in the bag, take them out and put them in the tank if you're not going to quarantine. But most people don't quarantine corals, they dip them. But anemones, you can't really dip those. You could do an antibacterial dip, but that's about it. But it really depends on how far apart the parameters are. How do I get started? Funny thing you should ask. I have a playlist on this YouTube channel called Saltwater Beginners Start Here. There's way too much information for me to try to go over in the live stream for how to start a saltwater tank. But if you go to that playlist, it lays it all out for you. I'm sorry, guys. We've had to delete so many people and so many comments that I can't even get to the good stuff. How large does your aquarium need, or does your aquarium need to be to support a mermaid? I don't know. I don't know. You know? Ashley, what's going on? Can't wait to get my first setup. Spent hours on YouTube and your videos. Feel like I know so much now. Oh, you're definitely gonna learn some more. It's a big learning curve, especially once you get going. Things are going to come up that you haven't even thought about or read about. You know, but it's pretty cool that you're getting started. Can't wait to see what you got going on. Northeastern Reef says, I'm interested in a fox face at my local fish store. Don't have any corals currently. If I add the fish first and coral later, will the fish eat the corals? Typically, fox face don't eat corals. I have one in here. Let's see. Yep, he is right there. I have had a fox face in every one of my mixed reef tanks that I've ever had, and I've never had one that eats corals. Now, that's not to say that maybe someday one will or won't eat corals or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. But usually that fish doesn't. So I wouldn't worry too much about it with that one. All right. So, well, we're caught up with the comments because I don't know, the channel got spammed with a bunch of freaking crazy crap all at the beginning. It was a full moon 2 nights ago, Camaro, so maybe that's part of it. Tara says, I learned multiple new things just in the last week with reef keeping. Yeah, and you've been doing it for what, a decade or something like that? Learning never ends. It's one of the best parts. Yeah, I agree. I've been doing it 25 years, and I'm still learning stuff too. I just found out a week ago that Neptune Systems, there's a way you can set up the Trident with another piece of hardware, and it will monitor your parameters and then dose based on the results of those parameters. So it's the only system that I know of that can monitor and dose based on what it found. The AquaWiz does it, but only for alkalinity. And there's a couple of other ones. I think GHL was working on one for a while that did that. But yeah, there's always something more to learn. I've been high-end reefing and even owned and sold a store, but your video on balancing chemicals with nutrients and bioload was very, very good. Thank you. I can share with customers. That's awesome. I do really like it when people who have been in the hobby for a long time, own stores, you know, have businesses around the industry and stuff, agree with the things that I'm saying. Obviously, that's very good for all of us if we can all get on the same page. So yeah, I appreciate you watching the videos and thank you for the kind words. I wouldn't do automated dosing that way. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's, you know, if one thing freaks out, it could crash your whole tank. So it's, I don't know if I would do automated dosing that way either, but I'm just saying it was something that I learned about. No, having a doser that you can set to only do exactly what you want it to do is the best way to go. If you're going to go with a doser type of situation, which is what I'm about to do. Our calcium will stop based on Trident dosing, showing things are too high. Yeah. You always got to have redundancies in place for anything like that. I think I'm not sure how I'm going to make my dosing situation redundant right now because I don't have automated parameter monitoring in my tank. I'm old school still at this point with this tank. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. This is my 180-gallon mixed reef tank. All the support equipment is in the room on the other side of that wall behind the tank. And I have another tank right here to my left. I'll show you. I have another tank right here that's full of dinoflagellates right now that's not looking good, that needs to get fixed. And I have several other tanks right over there. The wine glass tank is also a saltwater reef tank with corals in it. So that's pretty neat. And yeah, so it's definitely a passion of mine with this hobby for sure. If it wasn't, I guarantee you I wouldn't be doing this still. It's been a long time, and a lot of things have come and gone in that time. So yeah, anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. So what else is new? We're going to Reefapalooza. That's going to be an interesting experience. I've been to coral shows and stuff before, but I've never been to Reefapalooza before, especially in Orlando, but really none of them. Oh, there's a question. Here's a question. Nitrates 26, phosphates 0.16. Okay. Running UV, dosing pods, microbe lift, PNS bacteria, phyto, and I have Ostreopsis. Thoughts? So all the I hate saying it that way, but that's the correct way to do it. All the dinoflagellates can show up even when the numbers are good. Just because the numbers are it's not completely based on just nutrient load, is what I'm trying to say. You can have dinos and still have good nutrients when the microbiome and stuff is lacking, usually lacking diatoms. And then the dinos can take over and they become the dominant organism. For Ostreopsis specifically, you say, are you human or American? Those things are not mutually exclusive. I can be both. But anyway, Kumar, I don't know if I did or not. Okay, well, we'll get back to that in just a minute. Hang on, let me finish the one to Lyle. So anyway, you say that you're running UV. It matters how strong your UV is and how fast the water flow is going through the UV. That's the correct thing to do for Ostreopsis because that's what it takes to kill them. Now, the recommendation is 3 watts per gallon. Or no, excuse me, 1 watt per 3 gallons. For an Ostreopsis UV. So they need to be very powerful. Most people don't spend the big money it takes to get a UV of that size. I have seen results, good results, dosing Tropic Marin nitrobiotic into the sea cardinal that has Ostreopsis. It has not cured them, but it has helped tremendously. So you might want to consider getting some of that and dosing that to the tank according to the instructions, because that in conjunction with the UV might be the thing that gets them done for you. But generally speaking, if it's Ostreopsis, whoa.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. That was $100 super chat. Fracture Fix. Just wanted to say thanks for all you do for us. Holy crap, that was definitely unexpected and extremely appreciated. Wow. You kind of caught me off guard with that one. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. I'm happy to try to answer them. So let me go back and grab these other couple of questions right quick. My question, okay, so Kumar, my question was, nitrate is zeroing down. Is ammonium bicarbonate safe to use, or potassium nitrate, magnesium nitrate, or a safer option? Ammonium bicarbonate, if you do it correctly, is safe. The goal of dosing it is not to raise nitrate. The goal of dosing ammonium bicarb is to provide the corals what they need for fuel in a low nutrient situation. Having said that, I have used ammonium bicarbonate to dose to the tank and raise nitrate with it. But you have to be very careful, obviously, because you're literally ammonia dosing your aquarium. So you want to be very careful, do plenty of research on it. Find the information that I think I listed in the video where I was talking about saving money. I don't know if I put the chart link down there. You can find it if you Google it. about how much ammonium bicarb to dose to your tank, but using something like potassium nitrate or sodium nitrate to dose the nitrate to bring it back up, way safer. You're really not going to hurt the tank even if you overdose it a little bit. And I know that I have the information for that 100% in that video where I talk about saving more money and whatnot. So yeah, that's definitely the way that I would go. It's literally the way that I am going. I have potassium nitrate here right now that I'm going to be mixing up this evening after the stream to start dosing the tank behind me. So it's what definitely what I'm going to do. David says, I keep getting green dust algae on the glass. It wipes right off real easy, but after I wipe it, 20-30% of what causes that? Usually that is an indicator of an imbalance in nitrate and phosphate where the phosphate is way higher than it should be. Usually, not always, doesn't happen like that every time, but that's the first place I would look. So check your nitrate phosphate numbers and see what those look like, and also check the PAR of your lights because excess lighting can do the same thing. Yeah. Hammer's not happy. Yeah, me too. Same thing. Yeah, my hammer's not happy either. A couple of them. Mushrooms, leathers, and anemone are thriving. Nitrates and phosphate still zero. That's why the hammer's not happy. I'm in the same boat. My numbers are trending down, so I got to do some stuff to bring them up. But that's probably what's going on with your hammer. If they're remaining zero for a length of time, you may have to consider dosing nitrate and phosphate. That same video that I was talking about just a minute ago, that's down in my feed a little bit, where I talk about how to save money in reef keeping and whatnot. There's info in that video about how to make your own nitrate and phosphate solutions and dose them to the aquarium to bring those numbers up. Jay Hennessy, nice to see you here, my friend. Appreciate that. And thanks again, Fracture Fix, for that super chat. That was absolutely amazing. I definitely didn't see that one coming. You caught me on the surprise. Lyle says nitrobiotic is the answer I was looking for. I'm trying to find it in Canada. Yeah, I don't know about getting it in Canada. You might just try to contact Tropic Marin directly and see if they could tell you who a supplier is or something. Is a 15-gallon tank a good starting size? I know bigger is better, but bigger is also more expensive. That's true. I completely agree with that. And you can be successful starting with a 15. I like tanks to be a little bit bigger. My personal opinion is a 40-gallon is the perfect starter size. Anywhere around there, 35, 40, something like that. Reason being is because one of the best ways to start and then become familiar with reef keeping is to start the tank and then do 10% weekly water changes. It helps you control your nutrients, and it also puts good stuff back in the water that gets used up by the tank over time. 10% of 40 is 4. So you can easily do a 4-gallon water change with a 5-gallon bucket. You don't need any crazy special equipment, super easy to measure, so on and so forth. But yeah, 15-gallon, you could definitely do that. I know Hello Reef has a 15-gallon kit that's it's pretty well put together. They definitely don't have all of what I would consider needed for a reef tank. Fortunately, I partnered with Sea Cardinal, and we do have that. It's our Reef Ready line of tanks. You can check them out at www.seacardinal.com. And there's a 35-gallon and a 50-gallon. And either one of those kits, the Reef Ready kits, come with everything you need except rocks, sands, and test kits, because those things are very personal. People like to choose how they want their rocks to look, what kind of rocks they use. The same thing for the sand. Some people don't use test kits that use colors. They want to use the digital ones, so we didn't put that stuff in there. But yeah, it's all good. We have a tiny torch coral we've had for about 2 weeks, and it hasn't extended out much, if any. Nothing seems to make him happy. Yeah, that's difficult. Torches can be that way, especially when they're small. It's really hard for me to tell you what to do. I would stop moving it around. I would put it in like a moderate lighting area and moderate flow and just leave it be. Make sure the numbers are all good in your water where they need to be, all your parameters and whatnot, and just give it some time. That's really all you can do. Unless like some number or something is like way out of whack. If your alkalinity is too low or too high or something like that, then you want to fix that for sure. But otherwise, just give it some time. Let it go. And hopefully it'll be okay. You know, in my case with mine, I know why they're upset, because my nutrients fell off. So I can do something about it. I don't know if my throat is going to last 3 hours today. It's already struggling. You might have to go get me that spray, baby.
Where is
In the box. Thank you for all those hearts. I appreciate that. Fracture says, no problem. More to come, I promise. I started my first 90-gallon in 2005. I got out for a bit, but I'm getting back in. Your knowledge is saving time and money. Not a rookie by any means. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad that you're finding the information valuable. A lot has changed since 2005. And even the way we think about some of the things that we do with our tanks has changed. So I try to give the most relevant, up-to-date information that I can. Of course, that's difficult to do every single time, but I think we get pretty close most of the time. And again, I really appreciate it. New technology and products. Yeah, for sure. Definitely a lot of that. So much new technology in the hobby since then. I mean, when I got in, that was back in the day of power compact lighting. Everybody was using incandescent bulbs for growing chaeto in our sumps. Thank you. It was back in that time frame. So we were literally making skimmers and stuff out of PVC pipes, and using weld-on to make acrylic boxes was not even a thing yet. So yeah, I mean, except for like the big companies and stuff. My local fish store gave me PNS Probio to help battle dinos. Any tips on how to use it? Nope. Just put it in the tank according to the instructions. That's it. That's all you got to do with it. Some people do inject it down into the sand because it's a benthic type of organism that wants to be in the substrate. So some people will use a pipette or something and they squirt it down in the sand. I've heard it helps. I can't be for sure because I've not done it that way, but greetings from the other side of the big pond. Well, hello. Nice to see you. Philip, what's up, man? Can't wait to see you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Going to be at Reefapalooza, Orlando, so that's cool. Come by the Sea Cardinal booth and oh, hang on. Wait a minute. I can't talk and read at the same time. I'll be at the Sea Cardinal booth, so come swing by over there and see us. We're on like when you walk in, we're on like the second row is where that's going to be. What did I miss? Walk by my wife with live stream going, and you read the comment, we have a tiny torch. No, you didn't send me a tiny torch. That thing is huge. It's a monster. And I really can't help but wonder if that Australian is why these other hammers are pissed off a bit. I don't think so, because I'm running carbon and it shouldn't be. And it's healthy and all the way on the other end of the tank, which doesn't matter because the water goes everywhere anyway, but it's not directly touching them or anything. So I don't really think that's it. I think they're just pissed because of the nutrients. And it was just coincidental that the nutrients began dropping at the same time the Australian gold went in the tank. So yeah, anyway, we're going to get the nutrients up. We're going to keep running carbon and we'll see where to go from there. I started out in 82. Remember drip plates and wet dry filters? Yes, I do remember that. My first sump was a wet dry filter from a freshwater tank. And I set it all up and I just put rocks in it because that was all I had. And no, I put Miracle Mud in it and I had rocks on top of the Miracle Mud and ran that tank for a year like that, I guess. That was one of my first tanks anyway. What about Aquashella Dallas? Are you going to be there? I was not planning on going. That said,
maybe that's a drive.
We could drive to Dallas in an not an afternoon. It's about 6 hours,
No,
7 hours.
People around 9 to 10 out.
Oh, 9 to 10?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
Dallas was closer than that.
It just depends. I know, East Texas,
Mhm.
Tyler and all of that is about 7 to 8, and
Okay.
Dallas is a little further.
So, I mean, Aquascaping, Dallas is not completely out of the question because we could drive there. We could just drive up like for a Friday night and then be there Saturday, stay half on Sunday and drive back Sunday evening and be back here on Monday. We could do that. Let's your gut is likely right on that. Yeah. Miracle Mud stinks so bad. I didn't find that it really stunk that bad, but after it was in that sump for a while, and then when I took it out, oh yeah, rotten eggs all the way. It was full of hydrogen sulfide, which is what it's supposed to do. So it was doing its thing. Under gravel filters, yep, definitely. That was another one. That was another one from back in the day. I attempted one time to set a tank up with under gravel filters, and it was just that with rocks on top. But I never really liked the way that it was going. Never liked the way that it came out. So yeah. Tara says, old school. I stored my bio balls away years ago because they were nitrate factories. Now people are dosing nitrates, right? Makes you wonder, don't it? All this sterile stuff that we're doing. That's why when I change my media in my filter baskets in my sump right now, because I'm trying to increase nutrients, I only change the top floss. The bottom, it's in two parts. I have some in the bottom, and then there's some on top. The bottom one I'm just leaving in for right now. So anything that it's capturing down there is just converting back to nutrients. Doug Jones wants to know if dosing is a must. So here's the thing, little quick dosing 101. Eventually, you might get to a point where dosing is an absolute requirement for your tank. Mine is almost to that point. I know it doesn't look like that on camera, but there's over 60 corals in this tank, and a lot of them have skeletons, and they're sucking up the nutrients and the alkalinity. So yes, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to dose this tank. I'm not going to have an option. You can make that, how do I want to say this? You can extend the amount of time that it takes for your tank to get there by doing weekly water changes. 10% a week is all you need to do. That's going to replenish calcium, magnesium, alkalinity, and some trace elements back into the water and take out some excess nutrients. There are people who have run tanks that never need to be dosed. So like softy tanks where they don't have skeletons on the corals. They don't suck up nutrients as much as like an LPS or an SPS tank will. So the answer to that question is maybe. It depends on so many things, and there's not really one right or one wrong way to do it. It just depends on your setup and what kind of corals you have. The corals that I have that I want to keep are going to require me to dose things beginning tomorrow. So yeah, I had a switch from every week water changes to every other week. Yep, that happens. You know, sometimes you got to make those adjustments. It is what it is. I'm not currently doing water changes on this tank because my nutrients are low, but also because I'm running the Triton Trace Element program, the MYTE. They call it MITE. Master Your Trace Elements is what it stands for. I'm running that program. So ICP test once a month, and they mix up 2 bottles of trace elements and send them to me, and I dose those to the tank, and my trace elements are all covered. I don't have to do anything else. But because I'm running that, in addition to the Triton method of reef keeping, the goal is to get away from water changes. So I'm not doing them right now on this tank. And my mustache keeps stabbing me right here in the corner of the mouth. That's why y'all keep seeing me do this. But yeah, it's there was a lot of good stuff in the old days. We were talking about old days of reefing here just a little while ago. I should get a couple of people together who were there during that time, who maybe still have some pictures and stuff, maybe even some video, and really just have a talk about like how reef keeping used to be, because it looks very different from how we do it now. You know, the coral selections that we had were extremely different from what we have now. Most of the Acropora that you would get back then there weren't no crazy names. You could get a red acro or a green acro, or if you were lucky, you might get a blue one. You know, the lighting that we had back then couldn't bring the colors in corals out like we can now. You know, like some of these Acropora that we have now, Bill Murray and strawberry shortcake and all of these types of things, they have, you know, multiple colors in these corals because of the lighting that we have. We didn't really have that back then, you know. And NIMS, you know, anemones were never really colored up all that good. If you had like a purple long tentacle, it would be purple. But rose bubble tips were just pink. They didn't have any of the variation in the stripes and dots and spots and all that stuff that they do now. Oh, wait a minute. Brought home a couple corals from a frag show yesterday. Duncan, rock flower, mushrooms, cool. They're placed in the sand for now, opening nicely. Would it be okay to try? Nope, don't feed them. Let them acclimate. Just let them chill. Give them a week. The mushrooms you don't need to feed at all. The Duncan you can feed, and the rock flower you can feed as well. But don't go crazy. Just let them get comfortable for about a week before you start trying to do anything like that. I just stepped off camera for a minute. I'm coming right back. My doggone throat is already hurting. Wow, and then looking up at the ceiling to use this throat spray made me dizzy. But yeah, don't feed them. Just let them hang out. Let them chill. By the way, if any of you are new here and you're not subscribed to the channel, my name is Logan, and I teach people how to do saltwater aquarium fun stuff like this. So if you're interested in the hobby, you don't know where to start, you want to find all that information, click the subscribe button. And if all of you who are here now watching could hit the like button on the stream, that'll help push it out a little bit more. Maybe we get some more people in here. That would be cool. Thanks. That's enough about that. Housekeeping out of the way. Should I feed my Catallophilia, or is the light enough? I'm actually not familiar with that scientific name. John, do you know what that is? Catallophilia. What's the street name for it? Like, what is it? I don't know. I don't recall that scientific name. It's probably something silly. I forget that you're over there with a computer today. Happy Sunday. Back to you. Currently dealing with a bleaching Zoa. I added them too early. He's healthy and open now, but nowhere near as colorful as he was. What should I do to help him out? Aminos. No. Do not dose amino acids. Oh, elegance coral.
Elegance.
Duh.
Yeah, I just got there.
Oh my God. Should you feed it? I wouldn't. I would just let it grab the stuff that's you know, in the water column when you feed the fish, especially if you feed like frozen and stuff like that. There's going to be all kinds of stuff that comes along with that floating around in the water. I would just let it grab that stuff. Elegants are extremely prone to bacterial infections. So if you start feeding them and that food gets trapped or it gets not digested properly or whatever, it could cause it to have a bacterial infection, which they get a lot. You could sneeze and give that thing a bacterial infection. Not literally, of course, but they're that sensitive. So I wouldn't feed it, no. Some people do, but I don't. I don't feed most of my corals. There's very few of my corals that I actively feed. What was we talking about? Aminos, yes. Waffle Donkey Productions. Okay, cool name. No, don't dose aminos to your tank. Zoas generally don't bleach. That's kind of weird. If they are, usually they will, if they're getting too much light, which is what usually causes bleaching, the zoas will flatten down against the rock, like real super close to the rock. They usually do that way before they start bleaching. So if you have zoanthids that are turning pale or turning white, I would check all of your other parameters and don't dose anything to the tank that you're not testing for. So just putting amino acids in there probably isn't going to solve your problem. So if you're talking about like Red Sea AB plus, those types of things, it's probably not going to fix it. There's probably some other thing going on, alkalinity swinging around or pH or something like that. I'm just spitballing here, but no, I wouldn't do that. Should I leave them on the sand for a bit, or is it okay? No, go ahead and put them where they need to go. Put those corals where they need to go. They're going to be just fine. The rock flowers don't like to be just in the sand. They like to be the foot of the rock flower. If you have a hole in your rock, kind of put the foot down in a hole in the rock or something. It'll grab a hold of that and you'll be good to go there. The other two, mushrooms can pretty much go anywhere as long as they're not in super high par. And the Duncan in the middle, medium par, medium light. Let's see. Yeah, elegance bacterial, especially, I forget which one it is. Australian ones seem to do better. The Indo elegance corals seem to be really bad about getting bacterial infections. So hopefully you have a tank that is more mature rather than newer, because they really do appreciate a mature tank. What have you heard about dosing amoxicillin to a reef tank for bacterial infections? Usually we don't use amoxicillin in the hobby. We use ciprofloxacin a lot. We use erythromycin a lot. I haven't actually heard of anyone using amoxicillin. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't do it. It is just another broad spectrum antibiotic. And I mean, I wouldn't. You broke my brain. I never recommend dosing antibiotics directly to the tank unless you have a systemic bacterial infection in the whole tank. If it's just a fish with a bacterial infection, I would recommend doing a bath instead. Medicated bath, put the fish in, leave it in for so long, and then take it out and put it in QT. But
Fish about it. Is it okay for me to put the link in there?
Amoxicillin?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can link Humble Fish. Yeah, I didn't realize they had a post about that. So in the comments, there's coming a link for amoxicillin use in the reef tank on Humble Fish.
It's a community thread. So.
Oh, it's a community thread, so people are just talking about it. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's probably some good info in there anyway. But no, what kind of bacterial infection are you talking about, Lyle? What can I do about bubble algae? Emerald crabs not touching it. Pithos crabs tend to do better than emeralds do when it comes to bubble algae. But you can literally just pop it off the rocks. Get a little sharp tool, like that thing that the dentist uses to like scrape your teeth, a little hooked sharp tool, and just kind of dig at the base underneath the bubble algae. It'll pop right off the rocks. Now, if your rocks are absolutely covered in it, you might want to take a rock out, clean it outside the tank, rinse it in some salt water, and then put it back in the tank. But don't worry about popping them. They are not sexually reproducing 100% of the time. You might get one that is every now and then, but your filtration, if it's decent, is going to take out most of those spores before they can grab a hold of anything and do anything. So if it's just a few bubble algae, just pop them up, pop them out, or get some Pithos crabs. Foxface, the only thing my foxface tries to eat is my feather duster. He chews on the tube. That is an interesting thing. I have a big feather duster in my tank too, and I've never seen my foxface bother him. Never seen one bother a feather duster. Not saying it can't happen, because I've not seen everything, but I've seen a lot. But I've never seen one bug a feather duster like that. I've seen coral beauties do it, and flame angels, any of those types of angels. Yeah. Any update on your macro 40 breeder? Yeah, it's cooking. It's doing great. It's got rose bubble tips growing in it. There's probably about a dozen of them or more now. I'll take you around there. We'll go look at that in a few minutes. I'll have to I can't turn the light on because I'm on my phone. There's no way for me to turn the light on. But we can go see it anyway. It'll be fine. Let's see. My alk is low. Started dosing that last week. Oh, yeah. Cool. No problem. Happy to help. Glad we could get some questions answered. Oh, Lyle was just curious on my opinion. Yeah. My opinion is I never put antibiotics into a tank unless it is the absolute last resort and I have done everything else that I can think of before then, because broad spectrum antibiotics can't tell a good bug from a bad bug, and they kill both. So, but sometimes you have to make that sacrifice. If there's some sort of a thing that's growing in your tank that needs an antibacterial, you just have to take the hit, you know. But more often than not, you'll be able to solve whatever problem you're having in another way. Had to move the camera a little bit. That's better. What kind of fishies you got? I got lots of fishies, man. I know it's hard for you to see them right now, but there's a sailfin, there's a 2-spot tang. I have 3 black damsels. I have a 4-stripe or a 3-stripe damsel, black storm clownfish, a spot fox face, cleaner wrasse. We'll go take a look at the tank here in just a few minutes. We'll look at it a little bit closer so you can see the fish.
Oh, possum wrasse.
Possum wrasse, yeah. Yeah, my wife likes the possum wrasse. And most all of them have musical names. The possum wrasse's name is George, because the country artist George Jones' nickname was Possum. So there you go. Fish mox is what it's called. Okay, 500 milligrams per 20 gallons of water every 24 hours for a week. I have heard of that. Now that you mention that, I've heard that name before. I still recommend the same thing. I don't recommend that antibacterial dosing a tank unless anyway, last resort. Getting back into the hobby after being out of it for 20 years. So much has changed. Thank you for the hard work and sharing the videos. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for being a watcher of the videos, because without that, I could upload all the videos I want, but if you don't watch them, it doesn't do any good to me or anybody else. But yeah, that's cool. A lot has definitely changed in 20 years or so. We were just talking about that a little while ago in the stream, some of the old ways. The rock flower is in a cup. How do I get it out without hurting it? So if you take that rock flower and you just hold it above the water in the tank, where just the tip of its tentacles can touch the water, it will release from that cup. Now, you might be there for 20 or 30 minutes, but it will eventually release from that cup and want to be back down in that water. Otherwise, you can just take your finger and really gently, I guess, just kind of edge the foot on the cup, just kind of irritate it a little bit, and it'll start to peel its foot away. Don't peel it off. Just rub it and make it angry, and it'll start letting go of that cup because it doesn't like what's happening, and then you'll be able to grab it. I doubt we'll have time at the retreat, but if we do, we should talk about my opinions on bubble algae. I disagree with a lot of people on it. All right, that's cool. My centerpiece fish was a porcupine puffer and was going to build around him. However, I recently purchased 2 Moorish idols. Do you think they can share a tank? I wouldn't see why not. I mean, the puffer and the idols are not going to have issue with one another, really. The only thing that the harder thing is going to be taking care of 2 Moorish idols. It's a difficult fish to take care of. You need to be adding a lot of fibrous foods for those fish, and in varying species, lots of different types of algae and seaweed, nori, stuff like that. I would start growing codium. It's a macroalgae in your refugium, and halamidia as well to feed those fish. Never noticed how many of the same fish we have. Oh, really, Jay? I know we talked about it a little bit before, and I do remember we had a few of the same ones. Great question. Do you think the Simplicity test strips are decent for range indication? Hold on one second. Oh, it's in the folder. Yeah, would you go get it? I'm actually studying that right now. So we'll come back to that when she brings that back. I lost 3 of my 4 fish to ick, and the remaining one I left in the tank and dosed hydrogen peroxide, raised the temp to 80 and bought a UV. This was on the 27th of March. The clown is ick free. Should I wait to add more fish? No, there's no need to wait. If you didn't allow the tank to go fallow, the chances that the pathogen is still in the tank are very high, like 99%. Thank you, baby. The clownfish may be just healthy enough to fight them off. And with the UV and stuff, you are taking care of a few. So you might as well go ahead and add fish back if you're going to. What I would do is take that fish out, put it in a QT, leave the tank fallow for 6 weeks, 7 is better, and then put the fish back. Then you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that the FedEx thing just popped up again. We're good.
Oh.
I forgot to tell you, I talked to him about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, we were dealing with some back end stuff. If you're not going to quarantine the fish, you might as well go ahead and put other fish in, because the bug is still in there, most likely. Still rocking the RL90s. No. Trying to think. I mean, yeah, no, I'm not rocking the RL90 anymore. Let me open this up. Oh, so it's probably difficult for you to see, but that is a full panel of Delua Illumagic X4s, the big ones right here. These are called the X4s. And then there are 4 of the Delua Illumagic Vitamini strips. There's 2 in the front, 1 here and 1 there, and then there's 2 all the way in the back behind the lights back there. This is a recent upgrade for me. The pop blooms were great. They did an awesome job. I just had the opportunity to upgrade my own tank, and I'm a hobbyist just like you guys are. So I enjoy being able to upgrade my tank and, you know, do better things and try other things. And these lights were available, so that's what's on the tank now. It is very interesting to see how differently the tank can look with different lighting. This light's definitely very different from the pop blooms. There's much more spread. So there's a lot less shadows in the tank than there were with the pop blooms. But listen, I love the pop blooms. I am keeping them because with my future plans and stuff, I'm probably going to have a frag tank set up. And the pop blooms are going to be great for a frag tank. So that's probably what they're going to go on. I'm definitely not getting rid of them. But yeah, but I'm very happy with these. If you want to look up what this is, it's by Delua, Dalua. Yeah, it's by Delua, Delua.com. This is called the X4 SPS Beast Mode Bundle. That's what this, all this together, that's what it's all called. If you want to look it up and check it out and see what you think about it. But nope, not running the pop blooms anymore. But it's not because I didn't like them. I did and still do like them. And as a matter of fact, I'm probably going to have one of their new RL 115s on the way pretty soon to like check it out and compare it against the RL 90 and stuff like that. So I'm still working with pop bloom. And yeah, I mean, I've got the RL 60 as well, which I'm going to be putting on my sea cardinal tank, which is right over there. Bear with me for a sec. There we go. I got a good spray that time. Okay, so somebody asked me a minute ago about those simplicity test kits. And see, there's more to this social media brand and stuff than you think. This is literally my folder, Simplicity Test Strip, which is backwards for you. So this is my most recent results. So with it, I would show it on screen, but it's going to be backwards to you anyway, so it's not going to matter. Wait a minute, no, that's the oldest results. Let me go to the newest ones. As of the 16th, so what is that, 2 days ago? 3 days ago, my Salifert kit pH was 7.8. The Simplicity was too low to make a determination. Salifert alkalinity was 8.5. Simplicity said it was 0. Calcium was 1440. Simplicity said 400. Magnesium 1410. Simplicity was too low to determine. Nitrate are 5 in my tank. Simplicity said 0. Nitrite were 0, 0, but they're 0 usually anyway. My salinity was 1.0235 according to my refractometer, which is ICP checked, so I know it's correct. And the Simplicity said that it was 1.030. I don't have an iron measurement. It's in my ICP results, but I forgot to look. But I do know that I have some iron because I'm dosing it. And Simplicity said that it was 0, and they don't measure phosphates. Now, that's just one test. The other 2 tests that I have done so far had pretty much exactly the same results. So I'm kind of giving away, or, like big spoilers here for those of you who are in the stream. There's going to be a video coming on this in 22 more weeks once I finish all the tests, because I'm going to run all 25 tests. But spoiler alert, no, they're not useful for us in any capacity that I can currently surmise. I can't find any valid way to use them with the information that I've found so far. I hate to say that because I was really hopeful that we were going to have a test strip that we could use for something. But so far, the numbers are just too far out of whack and don't agree with anything for them to be even remotely useful. So there's that. Now, let me get caught back up to where I was. Oh, we're not too far behind. Thank you for the props on the Aquascape. It took me about 2 weeks to build that. This is all connected to that one big rock that is silicone to the bottom of the glass. Now, this is just a pile of rocks over here. These guys over this way. It's just a big pile, but that's all one thing. Really cool. How many X4 do you think for the 125 gallon? Just about to fire it up, just need new lights. Now, Sean, if you're going to go with the Delua lights, you are not going to be disappointed. I have 4 of the X4s over the 180. You're going to need about the same amount of spread. So, because it's the same length tank. It's not as deep front to back. Wait. 125. Yeah, no. I think it is the same height, but it might be shallower front to back a little bit. But yeah, you're probably going to need 4. I kind of wish I had 5. There's a little dark spot right here in between these two and a little bit right over here as well. But I had that with the pop bloom too. And I don't hate that because right here on my rock is a low par area up high in the tank, and I have the same thing going right over here, about right there. There's a low par zone right there, all the way up at the top of the tank. So I could put a low par requirement SPS all the way up there, and it'd be okay. So I'm kind of okay with it. But yeah, you're going to probably want at least 4 of them. Oh yeah, you said we had so many sick fish posts on the last week, lots of ick and velvet. Yep. We have. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's environmental or if maybe the place where the fish are coming from has a problem, or I don't really know exactly what the cause of that is. But we were literally just talking about that, this morning?
For several days.
It's been several days now. My wife and I, we've been talking about that. Like, right. That's why on my channel the past weeks, really, I've been doing the fish disease videos because so many people are having so many problems, and I'm trying to help as many people as I can. But then I get people arguing with me, telling me that all they did was feed their fish garlic and the ick went away. Well, I think that coincidentally could possibly happen, but you didn't kill the ick. But anyway. I started 3:30, and I have a couple acro frags. Oof, moving quick. A torch, Recordia and mushrooms and Kenya tree doing good. When should I add a couple fish? Okay, so you went for the coral first and then fish. Love that. I think that's a great way to do it. Most of the world does that except for the United States, as a matter of fact, because anyway, I have a video on that about putting corals in first, and it can help you with the nitrogen cycle. If y'all want to go see that, you can. But as long as you don't have any registerable ammonia and you do have nitrate, you're probably good to add a couple of small fish. Keep tabs on ammonia, though. And the reason I say that is because you don't really want to ramp your ammonia up to 1.5 with corals in the tank. This is getting in depth, but corals can use ammonia, but they don't want to be in excess amounts of it. So you don't have the option to dose a bunch and see if the tank processes it. So you're just going to have to get some fish in there at this point and just see how it goes. I imagine with already having those corals in the tank that you're not going to see any ammonia because it's going to get used up as soon as the fish do their business. So I think it's probably fine to go ahead and add a couple of small fish. I am running 4 T5, 2 blue, 2 white. The tank is 60 centimeters deep. Am I limited in coral choice? Yes, you are. The only way for you to know for sure is to check the par, but I doubt seriously those 4 T5s are going to give you enough par to run any high light requirement corals. Probably going to be stuck to medium light requirement ones. But that's still fine. I mean, there's tons of corals that can grow in that sort of par environment that don't need extreme lighting. T5 is one of the old school ways that I grew coral for years. It's still one of the best ways. If you're trying to maximize growth, T5s are great. You just have to change the bulbs every 6 months. Even if they're still good, you got to change them because they start to lose punch. Mathis says, I'm running 4 of the RL 180s and happy with those running for a full year and got crazy growth. Yeah, I bet you do. Those RL 180s pack a punch, man. Those lights are strong. Yeah, I mean, that's basically like having 8 RL 90s, and I only had 4 on my entire 180. They just took 2 of the RL 90s and shoved them into one housing. And so if you got 4 of those things, you're definitely packing a punch. Just a little FYI, you can change the mirror effect. Yes, I know, but watch. You want to see what happens when I do that? It's probably entertaining, honestly, for you. Stickers, live video, close, mute. Well, I don't see it anymore. Yeah, I don't see the mirror thing. I might have to do it before I start the video. Anyway, when I'm trying to point at stuff like this, I can point the same direction I need to go. But when this thing is mirrored, when I point to the right, my hand goes that way. And bro, it's just not good. I can't, yeah, no, it ain't good. Just a helpful tip to anyone who gets a Moorish idol. I've been feeding mastic with Hikari's small algae pellets mixed in. So you're putting the pellets in the mastic and then squishing it around and then sticking it to like the glass or the rocks or something. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I've got some Easy Reefs mastic here that I've been checking out. And so far my fish could not care less. They don't care. It falls to the tank, bottom of the tank, and the cleaners eat it. Ken says, great channel. I have 2 clowns with fungus. Ugh, not good. I've QT'd them together, treated with copper power and cordon rid fungus for 2 days. They don't seem to be improving. So what I would do in that situation is like a 1-2 punch with Canaplex and Metroplex. I would get those antibiotics. There's a ratio that you can look up online to mix them together. I don't recall what that ratio is, but you can mix them together and you can run that in your QT. Fluconazole as well. FluxRx is an antifungal, so that might be an option as well. Wait, is fluconazole? One's an antifungal, one's an antimalarial. Fluconazole is the antifungal. Chloroquine phosphate is the antimalarial. Don't do that one. Do the Canaplex and Metroplex is probably what I would do. Let's see what we got. I wish people knew that they needed to QT. Seems to be so many new people too. Oh, this is Ryan Henry. Hey man, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by the stream. We got a good amount of people in here. 72 people hanging out with us right now. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Thank you all so much for joining us. Yeah, see, the thing about QT is even when people know about it, even when people like me try to push so hard to get people to QT, they just don't want to. And I get it. It's annoying. You got to have a whole nother tank set up. That's a whole nother thing you got to monitor and take care of and do stuff. I mean, I get all the reasons why, and you want to see your beautiful new fish that you got into your main display, but I don't know how to help any more than I have with trying to get people to understand how important it is to QT these new fish. It's like the example that I made in my video that I just dropped, the Brooklynella video. You could go to a fish store and buy a fish that they've only had out of the bag for 2 hours. It came from Indonesia, from the ocean, went through 14 holding tanks with 10,000 other fish or something, and then ended up at your local fish store. They had it for 2 hours, said it was eating fine and looking good, so you brought it home, and it's got Brooklynella, or it's got Uranema, which you can't get out of your tank, by the way, not even with a fallow treatment. If you get Uranema in your tank, the only option to get it out of the tank is there's two. One, you can dose chloroquine phosphate, but you have to dose so much of it that it kills the entire tank, which is pointless. Or you have to tear the tank down, sterilize the whole thing, get rid of the sand, bleach clean the rock, and set it back up and start from scratch if you get Uranema. And you know what fish carries Uranema more than anything else? Chromies. And you know what fish beginners tend to buy more than anything else because they're cheap? Chromies. So yeah, QT is very important, and I wish I could get more people on board, but people just don't want to do it. And I understand it's more expense, it's more hassle, it's more everything. It's just more. But it's super important, and it will stop you from killing your whole tank. I'm running 2 Kessel A360s and 2 A360. Oh, the X's and the XEs on a 120. Hey, that's a cool selection. Kessel makes very good lights. Yeah. So are you happy with them, Camaro? I mean, I guess you are. If you wouldn't, you'd probably be running something else. They have noted a lot of seasonality with disease presence on humble fish. Yeah, we've seen that before too. Julian Sprung, which a lot of you probably know who that is. If you don't, he's one of the fathers of reef keeping, wrote several books and stuff, 30, 40 years ago. He gets cyanobacteria blooms in his tank once a year when the pollen flow begins outside. So, pollen, trees do their thing, makes his way inside the house, bang, he gets cyanobacteria in the tank. Moving past all of the junk that happened, QT is super annoying. Should be the industry that picks up the slack. I don't completely disagree with that. There's a point in there that I do agree with. I do also think that it's our responsibility as hobbyists to make sure that we're doing everything that we possibly can. If you got a puppy from a really awesome breeder, and then you brought that puppy home and that breeder did everything that they were supposed to do to give you a healthy puppy, but then you chain the puppy to a tree, that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? But there's a valid argument to be made both ways. A person wouldn't go buy a puppy from a puppy breeder if those puppies are in really poor condition. Well, they might buy it to save it, but otherwise, in really depends on which puppy person. You get what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm saying? If the puppy breeder was terrible and trash everywhere and all that stuff, you wouldn't buy the dog. So don't go buy fish from a system that is obviously infected with something. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, moving right along. Let's keep it going. Can coralline grow on sand, or would you say I have cyano? It's purple, not red. It's like carpet and comes up in chunks. That doesn't sound like coralline. Coralline algae can grow on hard surfaces, and it can grow on sand granules. There are types of coralline that are like matting coralline that make like they grow in big mats and stuff, but it's not going to be fuzzy like carpet. So what that sounds like is either an algae of some sort, because I mean there's several. There's like red turf algae and a couple other ones. I can't recall the names of them right now. They're like I can see the picture in my head, but I can't recall the name. Or it could be cyanobacteria. It's hard to say. What small fish? Sorry, I had to take a break. Been talking straight for an hour and 10 minutes. Wait, that went away. What small fish, custom-made 30-gallon, are more prone to jump out of the tank and which are not? I don't want to have a cover on my tank. How should I say this? There's not a good way to answer that question. There's a squirrel on the bird feeder absolutely losing it. There's not really a good way to answer that question. Pretty much any fish, given the opportunity and the right set of circumstances, will jump out of the tank. If you're having a custom 30-gallon made, I would have it made with a Euro brace around the top. He just fell off the bird feeder. Because most of the time when fish jump, they're glass surfing back and forth, and they hit an end and go up, and they come out of a corner. Or they're swimming across the tank and they hit the side and they go up and they come out that way. So with a Euro brace all the way around the top, 2 or 3 inches wide, that almost acts like a lid in most cases. Usually fish don't launch themselves out of the middle of the aquarium. So that might be something that you would consider. Otherwise, I would have a mesh net lid on it. Black ones, you really can't see them all that much. The clear plexiglass ones, you can definitely see those, but black mesh almost disappears from 2 or 3 feet away. So this person just added a neon toadstool. Very cool. Just set up a 33-gallon nano, currently moving through cycling now, so no fish yet. Okay. As far as QT, could I run a 5-gallon all-in-one? No, you could. Look. That's my QT right there. That one. That is a 5-gallon tank from Walmart with a hang on the back filter and a heater in it. Now, it has rocks and sand in it, and it is cycled because I have starfish in here to feed the harlequin shrimp that's in this wine glass tank right now. But that's my QT. It's a 5-gallon tank. Of course, because of the rock structure in my tank, I don't have a ton of room for fish to hide. So I'm kind of maxed out on fish at the moment. I might add 1 or 2 more, just very specific fish. But anything that isn't huge, you could QT in a 5-gallon. Now, is that absolutely the best thing? Probably not. Would it be better to set up something like a 20? Absolutely it would. But you can use a 5-gallon if that's all you can get or have access to. I used to be in the hobby for about 15 years, getting back in. I have a 300-liter system ordered. Just wanted to thank you for the content and content you make and the info you share. Well, thank you very much, Apache. That's very cool. I'm happy that you are able to get back in to the hobby. Sorry, I had a message popping up from Etsy. I got to go check that out after the stream. Something weird is happening in my tank. Just fed my corals with roids. After a few hours, I noticed part of my red Monty bleached. That is probably coincidental. I don't think that the reef roids caused your Monty to begin bleaching in a few hours. Probably the Monty was already on its way to bleaching, and you're just starting to see the beginnings of it. It usually does take a day or two. For that, once that process begins, for you to start seeing the visual symptoms of the bleaching problem. I would put that Monty further down in the tank in lower par, less lighting. They really don't need all that much lighting. So this person says the big problem, if the industry sold disease-free fish, it would be moot as soon as you bought cleanup crew or coral. You can 100% introduce crypto into your tank if it is insisted on the shell. Yeah, absolutely. No, the only way to do it would be to QT absolutely everything that goes into the tank. So it's and that's the argument that a lot of people give for the reason why they don't QT. But an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So yeah. Yes, the lights did in fact get changed. I'm no longer running the pop blooms. These are Delua Illumagic X4s and Vitamini strips. So good eye. Of course, it's probably really easy to see these days because those pop blooms were just some little bitty guys just right up there. And this thing's a freaking heckin' chonker of a light situation. But yeah, that's what I'm running now. Coral vendors can QT. Yes, they can. Coral vendors can QT, and Terra Reef has very good, clean systems. I've had several shipments from Terra Reef in the comments there, and all of them have been absolutely perfect. Not even a bristle worm. So yeah. You want to hear a joke? I don't know. That depends. If it's a joke about reef keeping or saltwater aquariums and it's not disrespectful and it's clean, then yeah, let's hear it. Yo, says Marlon, just bought a 60-gallon cube. I'd like to keep a green spotted puffer, but not sure what I can do for a cleanup crew. Any advice? I'm actually not that knowledgeable about puffers because it's not a fish that interests me very much. I should read up more on pufferfish. I should. If I'm doing my due diligence in being able to help people, that's one area that I need some additional education. I'm not a pufferfish expert. But so it is difficult. You're going to have to rely mostly on fish for your herbivores. I don't honestly want to make any recommendations for you because I'm honestly not sure. And I'm not afraid to say that I don't know something. So that's not a thing that I'm certain about. But if you jump into my group, Reef Rookies with Logan on Facebook, and you ask it there, I am certain that there are some people there who have those pufferfish or the knowledge to tell you what you need to do. There may even be some people in the chat if anybody has that information and wants to talk about that. The odd thing is this Monty has been in my tank for 5 years. I tested the water, no fluctuation, so I'm kind of weirded out as it's the first coral I added into the tank. Oh, wow. So nothing's changed, huh? I mean, have you tested the PAR values on your lights? Because, light, even LEDs are going to lose PAR over the years. In 5 years, hang on. 5 years is right about that time where LEDs start to degrade. My throat is kicking. It's hurting today. And I know it's the way that I'm talking. I can feel it. But so, yeah, it's that's a difficult one. I still don't think that the reef roids caused it just on one dose. I mean, people dump that stuff in their tanks by the bucket load. So I don't think that's what did it. I think there's something else that's causing that Monty to do that. My local fish store QTs fishes for 2 weeks before selling. Is that okay? It's doing absolutely nothing. They're going through extra effort to not actually accomplish anything. 2 weeks isn't long enough to break the life cycle of any fish pathogen that we usually see in the hobby. So they are literally just doing extra work for no reason. If a fish store was going to properly QT fish to make sure that the fish that they then sell are disease and parasite free, it's going to have to be a minimum of 14 days medicated in copper and then a total time of 60 days. That's on the low end. 90 days would be even better. So if they're not willing or can't. And I'm not saying it's just because they're not willing to. It's expensive to hold those fish for that amount of time before they can put them on their floor for sale. They would have to have a rotating 90-day stock, you know. So for the first 90 days, they would have to buy up fish, and then each QT system would have to be its own thing. So that's why they don't do it. It gets very expensive, very fast, and very cumbersome for a store to do that. Because let's just say, and we're off on a tangent here, but let's just say I had a fish store. I almost did. We were looking really heavily, like we had the papers with the numbers and stuff in our hands to buy one of my local fish stores. Anyway, if I had a fish store and I'm going to QT all my fish before they go on the floor. So now I have to have a QT system set up alongside all my other tanks. Okay, so I get my first lot of fish in, they go into the QT, they're going to be ready in 6 weeks. What do I do now? Because I can't add any more fish to that QT system, because that's going to start the timer over on that system. So now I need 2 QTs, or maybe 3, or maybe even 4. So maybe what I do is I have 4 separate QT systems that all have to have separate tools for all those systems. And so I'm making a weekly order. Those fish go into that first QT1. The second week, I make another order, and those go in QT2. You see where I'm going here? So then after the 6 weeks, all the fish from QT1 can go out onto the floor for sale. Now that system has to be torn down, sterilized, and reset back up. So you'd have to rotate at least 4 full quarantine systems with full tools and everything completely separated, even with a physical wall so water can't splash between them, to be able to properly QT fish that then go onto the floor for sale. That's why fish stores don't do it. You know, it's not really possible. Now, a 2-week QT in a copper bath, maybe they're doing something, you know, and that's a whole nother topic. But if it's just a QT without any medication, it's not doing a thing. At Terra Reef, all new corals, algae, and other invertebrates are introduced to the system have been quarantined in fishless tanks for more than 90 days. Some are QT'd for more than 365 days. And that is why your frags are so clean. Something's making noise. I think it was the auto top off. I just went through the ugly stage, noticed multiple hydroid species popping up. What do? Nothing. They'll go away on their own. And if they don't, you can take the rock out and scrub them off and put them back. But there's really nothing that you need to do. The hydroids are going to come and going to go. Now, there's a type of hydroid that is called a colonial hydroid, and that's a little bit different. If you have those, the hydroids that are coming off of the rock and they look like a little polyp, those are a little harder to get rid of. Nothing eats them. You just have to take the rock out, scrub it with a brush, rinse it in salt water, put it back in the tank. If you do that enough, eventually they're gone. But if you're talking about the ones that are little star-shaped dudes, look like a constellation, little bitty on the glass, don't worry about them. They'll go away. Marlon, Clumsy is talking to Marlon, says, I think zombie snails might be safe. Yeah, I mean, maybe, because they stay under the sand. It's Necarious snails, for those of you who may not know. I am tripping over my words today. I don't know why. But anyway, they might be safe because they're under the sand, but I mean, you know, Puffer could dig them up. Maybe. Terra Reef likes Triton. What is the best ICP test out there? Which one has the fastest results time frame? Triton seems to be the fastest, at least to me. But the absolute best, like the most thorough, is the Oceamo MS. I believe that's the one that is the most thorough. Test for the most things and stuff like that. Yeah. Do you have a
Reef to Reef?
Do you have a Reef to Reef? You mean an account on Reef to Reef? I do, but I'm not active there. It's just not a place that I've ever really been super active. I am not a huge fan of internet forums. I like groups, and places where we can discuss and talk about things and stuff. But forums aggravate me because they demand your time. So like you go to a forum, you get set up, you make a post. It might be a week before you get an answer, but then you get 20 answers. The problem's already gone, or whatever it was that you were talking about. And then you got to sit there and you got to read through all those answers, answer each one of those people individually. It's not fast enough. And it's always bugged me ever since internet forums became a thing, 20 years ago? Something like that. Some of the first ones started popping up, but no, I just don't like them. They are good. I'm not saying that they're not good. I'm just saying that I, as a person, don't like them. Recently swapped to ATI Straton. Oh, okay, good lights. And used my par meter and tested the Monty's getting around 150 par. So 150 should be fine. Oh my goodness. That's a very good light. I like those lights a lot. It could be just the changing of the spectrum, is making that Monty freak out a little bit. Lyle Fishing says, and you can't have the QT systems too close or it gets airborne. It can. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the physical walls. Yeah. 246 days on the Coral QT Terra Reef. That's freaking awesome. Flesh band on my torch is receding. Any tips to improve this? Receiving 150 par and medium flow. Well, that's fine. Flesh band recession is, generally speaking, don't come for me, it's usually parameter or pest related. It's not generally related as much to light. It can be to flow, but medium par, medium flow should be good. I find that wild caught torches and hammers and stuff tend to have a harder time than aquacultured ones, and they tend to recede for several months, the flesh band, for several months until they get comfortable, and then they will grow it back if they don't die, which is a problem that often happens. Anywho, I went through the same thing with a local fish store. We almost bought several stores back in the day. To do it right, for an LFS, people would come in all the time and ask why you are more expensive. Exactly. It's a ton of effort to properly do it. High Tide in California does properly QT their fish. That's also why they don't have a huge selection. They drop 1 or 2 or 3 fish a week because they are doing it right. Yeah. 10 feet away from each other. No store has the space to do that. Yep, you're right. Yep. Good morning from Australia. Massive fan of my work. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I am gaining quite a following in Australia. There's a lot of people from there that are following the content. One of my moderators, future people. You're from the future. You are. You already knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But yeah, anyway, one of my moderators is from Australia. It's pretty cool. And Delua is based in Perth, I believe, is where they are. If an ATO is replacing 50% of the tank water per week, would weekly water changes still be beneficial? ATOs don't replace water. They replenish water. And there's a very key difference there. I was trying to think of an acronym if maybe you meant like an automatic water change, but that's not. You said ATO. So an automatic top off is not it's not replacing water, it's replenishing water. And here's why that matters. It is when you replace water, you remove some and you put some back. ATOs don't do that. Evaporation occurs, water goes away, but all of the crap that was in the water stays behind. And then it replenishes the fresh water to top it back off to the same dilution level. If your ATO is replacing 50% of your tank water a week, all it's doing is adding pure water back. All the contaminants and everything are still there. So it's not acting like a water change, if that makes sense. It's just keeping the tank topped off. I don't have a better way to say that. None of the bad stuff is coming out because it's not removing water and then putting water back. Now, people have set up automated water changes, AWCs, which is different from an auto top off, which is an ATO. And they, by the use of dosing pumps and other various methods, remove a certain amount and replace a certain amount of clean salt water every day. Now, doing that gets you away from having to do the weekly water change thing. But just because your ATO is replacing it, no, you would still need to be doing your weekly water changes, my friend. They survive full freshwater. Forgot they were in there when I upgraded my system.
Might have been talking to somebody else. Yeah.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, Ryan. Maybe I missed something. I don't think that I did. Is there a way to join Reef Rookies group without being on Facebook? Not the Facebook group. My wife said not yet. She has been after me to put a forum on our website. And maybe we will. I don't like them. They take absolute bucket loads of time to keep them running and moderate them and stuff like that. Especially when they get busy. Facebook is easier because it's super easy. It's right on your phone, and I know they got like Tap-a-Talk and stuff like that where you can access forums from your mobile device, but it's still just not as easy as the more modern features. But that said, we also have a Discord community, and all of these you can find by going to my website. We have a Discord community. We have a Reddit group that only has like 4 or 5 members in it. I'm not pushing it really hard. I just wanted to secure my name. So we have that as well. I'm on Instagram and the Clock app too. So if you want to talk to people in those places, we can.
Ryan was talking about the zombie snails.
Oh, the zombie snails. They survive full freshwater. Forgot they were in there when I upgraded my system. Really? Huh. I guess maybe they just closed up. Gloria says, get this, my tap water gets treated with chloramines. Yeah, that's fairly common in the United States, actually. My RODI system was leaving behind 0.4 ppt ammonia, had to buy a BRS system to finally get it down to 0. Dang. Yeah, some tap water is terrible. Mine is. Are frog spawn hard to keep? Not usually. They sometimes, okay, here's the disclaimer about corals, right? Even easy to keep corals sometimes just go haywire. They are living animals. It's just like a human gets a cold or has a headache or a dog gets the sneezes or something. Corals are animals, so things can happen. But with that being said, frog spawn are generally pretty easy to take care of. Whoops. As long as your water parameters and stuff are stable and in the ranges where they're supposed to be, you should be good. I'm running a Reef float water change system, best investment. Yeah, those are pretty cool. I do like automatic water changes. And when I do my big tank build, that might be a part of it. But it also might not. Don't know. We'll see. Okay, so Tara answered that. Hey, Law School Pro. Where are you at, Law School Pro? I'm in Louisiana near New Orleans.
That's where they are.
Oh, okay. Yep, I see that now. Very cool. Yep. There we go. We have massive colonies of frog spawn, says Tara Reef. That's very cool. You might want to hang on to those because once I build my 1,800 gallon tank, yes, it got upgraded from 1,400 to an 1,800. I'm going to need big colonies, and I might just have to drive up there and get them and bring them home. I'm kidding, but not really. Kinda, but not. Sort of. Anyway, so you're familiar with viral connection and aquatic? Do you mean coral connection and aquatic specialties? Yeah. I am familiar with them. I've been in both of those stores. Tara Reef says we can hook you up. That's what I'm talking about. No, I would never ask anything like that, man. Not huge coral colonies. No. I like growing things out from frags anyway. But Parameters are stable. Everything else is doing great, but I got one and it melted in 2 days. That can happen. Maybe the parameters of the tank where they came from were very different than the parameters you have in your tank. It's hard to say, you know. Maybe there was some contaminant in your tank that they didn't like a lot, especially if you had used tap water, or, I mean, there's 1,000 reasons. The par could have been very different. Your par might be very high and theirs wasn't too high. So it's just really hard to say. But yeah, that can happen. You can get corals, bring them home, and then they just melt. You know, I had stratosphere zoas. I wonder if they're still alive. They are still alive. They are still pissed, but they are still alive. They were doing fine for months and months and months, and then just closed up one day.
I lost the whole string. Okay, there it is. Oh, it's out the tank for it. We're halfway.
I have been informed by my administrative coordinator that we're halfway through the stream, so that means it's time for a tank tour. So we're going to do a tank tour, and we'll look at all of them. We'll just take a look at all my tanks. Logan, have you run a lot of activated carbon recently? I wouldn't say a lot. No, I mean, I'm running some, but it's not much. And no, my iodine levels are not depleted. I'm dosing that every day. Hang on. Let's flip it around. There we go. So we'll start over here. This is a tank I never talked about with anybody, but it's pretty cool. It's got our little beta fish who's currently just laying on the wall there, and a couple of these little guys. It's just a little planted freshwater tank, doing cool. This is the wine glass tank. This is also a Dilua light. This is the Illumagic Pixel. Very cool little nano light. It's a really awesome tank. Big old bird's nest in this thing. That's the entire support equipment for the tank right there. The little hang on the back and a little heater. We got some pulsing zinnia in there doing its thing. There's a purple stylo right back here. And somewhere in here, he's always very hard to find. Oh, he's right there. It's a pom-pom crab.
Oh, you got him?
The crab or the harlequin shrimp molted. But yep, there's the pom-pom right there. And there's a harlequin shrimp in here too. I don't see him, but he's in there. But anyway, yep, that's the wine glass tank. That's my little QT tank. Super easy. Heater, hang on the back, gravity thing that's already... Did I not fill those up on Wednesday?
I've been hearing them go off, so I think that you did.
Oh, wow. They friggin' drained quick. Anyway, all right. So let's go around here. We'll go take a look at the fish room next. So this is my fish room for those of you who may not have seen it before. The big tank is right on the other side of that wall. The pipes come through right here to the sump. And so this is my, well, it's going to be really hard to see. There we go. That's not too terrible. My macroalgae tank, I've got a couple different types of macros and plenty of Aptasia growing. There's even a bunch of turf algae growing down here. But this is a refugium. This is where that stuff is supposed to be. And yeah, coralline algae in here too. That's a 6 or 7 inch Hollywood stunner. So anyway, pretty neat. It's just connected in. It's also running Dilua lights. These are 2 Dilua pixels, but this is the planted tank coloration. I don't remember what it's called. The Fragger and the Reefer, and then they got like a planted tank one. Anyway, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. It's a mess in here, obviously, because, you know, reef tanks and busy and whatnot. This is the sea cardinal, which currently has Ostreopsis dinos, which are pretty easy to see, obviously. So trying to treat this. Got a little dude in there. He's cool. Got another, let's see. Well, I don't see them, but there's a couple of corals in here, but dinos have really, really wreaked havoc on this tank. And it's just because I neglected it. That's why. Am I missing comments or is nobody talking? Okay. So let's go and check out the big tank. So here's the lights. I actually have the strips off right now because it was just way too bright for the camera. But this is what the X4s look like. Very cool. They hang from that little cable right there. There's just that cable and that one right there. I did put a little bracket right there to screw them to the side of the canopy, but yeah. So anyway, here is the Australian gold from Terra Reef. Now all the colors are kind of messed up because I've got it on a coloration that's good for the camera for streaming and stuff. So it's not blues and all that, but it's got a more natural look right now. This guy always photobombing everything. Yeah. His name is AWOL, like sail. But anyway, corals have very nice growth going on right now, liking the way that these colonies are starting to fill out. That's the stratospheres right there. Let's see if we can zoom in. Yeah, I don't know. They were big and healthy for 6 months, and then they closed up, and they've never opened back up. So Australian gold torch. Ooh, that one's pissed off for some reason. Don't know why. But 12 inches away, these are just fine. So those are looking good. That's a smooth acro. These are some Terra Reef pieces. That's a Terra Reef acro up there. And let's see, what else is from Terra? This blue-tipped acro is from them. This big green guy right here is from them. That dude on the back wall is from them. Hermit crab near the micromusa. Oh, yeah. Yep. Good eye, man. And let's see, this frilly green. And like I said, keep in mind, the colors are all washed out right now because of the coloration. That rainbow Pusillipora right back there that might be getting too much par. I might have to move that dude because it actually is kind of pale. And then, let me zoom out. The famous massive rock flower anemone that is closing up right now for some reason. The thing's an absolute monster. It's like 8 inches across. And this one is quickly following suit behind it. It's about 6 inches across. And then here we have one of the pissed off corals for no freaking reason that I can figure out. If we go around this side, that one is fine. The one next to it is mad. That one is fine. And that one is mad. And then this is a huge colony of King Kongs. So that, all of that is one mama King Kong mushroom. And then all of that back there is another big one. These are about 4 inches across. And then this rock is absolutely covered in babies. Stylo? Oh, stylo. Yeah, my bad. But this is another piece. This one is not from Terra. I got that one from a friend. It's really hard to see what it looks like. Yep, there we go. Got some hairy pavona and some zoas and mushrooms and things. This Project X fungiplate came from Terra Reef. Looking very good. Would you move? Get out the way.
Never, unless you're trying to take a picture of it.
I know, unless you're trying to take a picture of them. But that fungiplate there came from Terra Reef. I picked up this move fish. I picked up this Galaxia from a coral show, local coral show. So that's pretty cool. I actually need to move that away from that because this has sweeper tentacles and they're getting to the point where they could probably get over there. Look, man, don't get attitude with me. Anyway, that's an Asian acan. Yeah, the colors are all messed up. Oh, this came from Terra Reef too. Beautiful micromusa. Absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite things in the tank. So did these candy canes came from. Oh, you did? You got a good picture of it? So let's see what else. I'm super freaking excited about this. You can't tell in the video right now, but this thing is like dark green turning purple in the middle of the branches and is like, I don't even know, like sky blue almost on the tips. I'm going to have to try to get a top down picture of that coral because it is gorgeous. And then this is a little Garf bonsai right back there. Love that. Got a Bill Murray. Well, that looks like crap. Let me come around here. So this is a Bill Murray acro, and then that big frilly dude. And that fish's name is Scoop Dog. And then we got the big feather duster, Jason Fox pinwheel candy cane. And there was something else I was going to show you. Oh, look at that. So a piece of that broke off, and I just grabbed it and dropped it into the tank, and that cleaner wrasse is currently in the way. But there it is, right there, just growing out of the rock, doing its own thing, moving apparently. There must be a hermit or a snail or something under it. It'll eventually encrust and become its own thing. So, all right, well, there's the tank tour. Let me get all this set back into the place where it needs to go, and we'll get caught up on the comments. My throat is tired. Can you give me some water, please? Thank you. Whew. Okay. Doggone. Seems like he wants to photobomb. Oh, man, dude, look, that fish, anytime you try to take a picture of anything in that tank, he's right in the way, unless you try to take a picture of him, and then he just moves away. Let's see. Anemone close to the one torch on the far right. Yeah, it is. It's a rock flower anemone, and it moved up there probably the other day, about a week ago or so. But the coral started going down before it did that. So I don't think that's it. I may have to move that hammer though. It all started before the lighting change as well. I bet you AWOL is picking at the pissed off hammer. I've never seen him do it. I've never seen any of my fish picking at any of the corals. I'm not saying that it's not possible, because it could happen, but I've not seen them do that. Gloria says, how do I get into corals? It's so intimidating. Well, you have to start by understanding what the corals need. I have videos on kind of the mindset, the theory around parameter balance as far as reef tanks are concerned. Having them in the right ranges and in the right ratios is very important. Or rather, fortunately, as long as you're doing water changes, most of the time, that's fairly easy. And then you would choose beginner corals. I've got a video on my channel that is called the 8 corals video. There's going to be a link in the comments here in just a second about 8 really good corals to start with. And they're really good because they tolerate a lot of parameter swings while you're learning how things work, and stuff like that. So really, you need to study the parameters a bit to understand what they are and why they are, and drop the video if you can find it too about, it's the one where the thumbnail says you're doing it wrong. Just search for parameters and maybe you'll find it. We're going to try to drop another video that's all about parameter ranges and ratios to one another. So maybe that will help too. And then once you have a good idea about where your ranges and ratios or your parameters need to be, then you just have to start. There's no other way to do it. You just got to get some corals, get them in the tank, put them in the place where you think that they should go according to the best information that you can get about them, and you're off to the races. Okay, she found it, so that link is coming. If you have good well water, you can use it, or are there just too many variables with minerals and trace elements? If it's a fish only tank, you can use pretty much anything you want. Reef tanks are harder because of all those variables. You know, certain things in a well will kill corals, you know, if the sulfates are too high, or if the boron is way out of whack, you know, it can set things and cause problems and algae blooms and whatnot. Well water for most people is very high in CO2. So if you use that straight out the tap to mix your salt water up and then you put it in the tank, you could potentially drive your pH way down. So it's always best to run everything through an RODI unit. I'm going to have a video coming soon about RODI units and all the possible scenarios and which ones you should pick and choose and use and stuff like that. So yeah, do you spot feed or broadcast feed these corals? You're asking me what I would do. What I am doing right now is not the same as the general advice that I would give most people. What I'm doing right now is broadcast feeding a food from Easy Reefs. Whoop, that's the wrong drawer, wrong place. Let me get it. Nope, that ain't it. Nope, nope, nope. Nope. There it is. So this is the one that I'm using right now. It's Easy Reefs, Easy SPS. It's a plankton blend. It's a powder food. I mean, everybody kind of knows what that looks like, but I'll show you. Let's pull a scoop out. Yeah. So it's just a powder food. Boop, you know, or I'll turn it this way. Whatever. I don't know why I'm doing that. Everybody knows what powder looks like. It's a powder food. God, it stinks. All these Easy Reefs food stink, which maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But right now I am doing that. The reason that I am doing that, well, let me tell you what I'm doing completely first. So I feed my fish pellets, also from Easy Reef. I also feed them frozen every other day or every third day, something like that. I do not rinse the frozen, and I add the powder to the water that I'm thawing the frozen food out in, and I put a couple drops of Celcon in there as well for my fish. The reason that I'm doing that right now is because this tank is very low on nutrients. It's trending down, and the nitrates and phosphate are dropping. So right now my nitrate are below 5 and my phosphate are below 0.03. Well, my ICP said they were 0.05, so I guess we'll go with that. So phosphate are actually probably okay, but nitrate are kind of low. And my alkalinity is dropping week to week. So right now I'm feeding the tank because it's low nitrate. Before that happened, when it wasn't dropping in nutrients, I wasn't broadcast feeding, and I generally don't recommend that anybody do. Hang on a minute. Let me... Oh, that probably did not do what I wanted it to do. I probably just blew everybody's eardrums. I am so sorry. Hopefully I didn't. But yeah, I got to lower my voice. So if you have to turn your volume up just a little bit, please do so. We have a purple tang that does the same thing, blocking views. Yeah. Always wants to photobomb. Yeah. Thank you, man. John from Terra Reef said, tank's looking good. Thank you very much. It actually isn't looking as good today as it was looking about a month ago, before the alkalinity and the nutrients started dropping. So I'm going to be working on those today and tomorrow after the stream to get those back in order for before I go to Reefapalooza, because it was looking better a month ago. And I think it's because the alkalinity and the nutrients have fallen down. As a tank owner, you will always know things can be improved or you aren't happy with. Always room for improvement. Yeah, that's definitely true for sure. I love diamond gobies so much. I've had 3. That sucks. They've all ended up on the floor. Yeah, and it's weird how fish can do that, man. They will literally go out the teeniest little hole that you could ever think of. Ugh. This is what's great about live streams is they're so informed. It's not a problem. Whoa! It just disconnected me and then said I was reconnected.
It did that to me a little while ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully everything is still going. Your thoughts on a dragon wrasse? Is it possible to have them in reef systems? Not, I don't think so, because those fish absolutely love to dig. And what they do is they dig around in rocks in nature to upturn those rocks to find mantis shrimps and crabs and things like that. So they are going to do the same thing in your aquarium. They're cute when they're little. They look awesome when they're juveniles. But they're ugly when they get big. They're just a big gray fish, and it will absolutely knock your rocks over. So unless all of your rocks are glued together where it cannot do that, I don't think it's really a good idea to keep those. Gloria, oh yeah, just so many corals out there. Yeah, yeah. What would you suggest for amphidinium? Amphidinium. There's nothing that you really could dose for amphidinium. I mean, other than maybe trying the tropic marin, the nitrobiotic. I know we were talking about that earlier. If you can get that, you could try that. Amphidinium is different than Ostreopsis in that it doesn't free swim in the dark, so it's not going to go through a UV. You have to beat it out with silicate dosing to induce a diatom bloom. So out competing it is what we have to do. And the tropic marin, also the PNS probio. Man, my throat is so dry. Do we have a cough drop? Yeah, give me a Jolly Rancher, please.
What flavor do you want? Matter?
How screwed up is it that I have throat issues and my job is talking? I don't care what flavor. It literally doesn't matter.
I'll give you a blue.
Yeah, blue is fine. Blue raz, blueberry, whatever the heck it is. Lyle said, get a blue one. They're the best Jolly Ranchers.
I like the watermelon.
I like the apple ones.
Oh, I almost gave you that.
The green ones. Yeah, those are my favorite. The green apple ones. It's my favorite thing to get in a snowball too. So I'm sorry guys, but I got to do this because my throat is absolutely killing me.
I'm looking for
I don't think we have any. Noel says, green chromies kill each other. So what schooling fish do you recommend for a 500 liter? Also, which tang? So I don't remember how big in gallons 500 liters is, but I think it's around 200 and something gallons. As far as tangs go, any of the zebrasoma species are going to be fine. Any of the bristletooth species are going to be fine as well. So like a two spot or a coal tang or a blue eye, those are all going to be good. Yellow tang, sailfin tang, purple, powder blue, powder brown, Achilles. Yeah, maybe not an Achilles. They get kind of big. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Scopus. All those tangs would be fine. As far as what was the other thing? Schooling fish. So one of the coolest ones, and they're really hard to find. There are red cardinal fish that we can get in the saltwater world, like the bang-eye cardinal or the pajama cardinal, but these dudes are red. They school very well. The bang-eye cardinals don't. Chromies generally don't. Anthias are okay, but only one male and several females. They'll school a bit. They would be okay in that tank size. In case y'all haven't noticed, when I'm reading through my files, I look up that way and I read through the files in my brain. Yeah. List some other stuff in the comments, you guys. I'm having a brain block. Oh, scissor dartfish. Those are kind of neat. The zebra darters, those are kind of neat, and they school. There's a little gray fish. It looks like a cardinal fish. It might be a cardinal fish. I don't know, but I saw some at my local fish store yesterday, and I've never seen them before. But they're about an inch long, and they're just kind of gray. So I don't think they would be like an amazing, oh my God, look at that fish. But if you had 40 of them, it might be pretty cool, you know? That's one thing that I am going to do in the big tank when I do the big tank is I'm going to have a school of something. I don't know what it's going to be yet. It might be yellow cardinals, but I'm going to have a school of something. Do you feel that live phytoplankton is better than liquid plankton from the stores? 100 million, thousand, billion%. Yes. Anything live is always better than anything dead. Bar none. Bar the end, period, ... So if you can culture your own live phytoplankton. Now, disclaimer, if the store is selling live phytoplankton in a bottle and that's what you're talking about, then no, there's not really any difference. Most of those plankton blends or whatever are not live. Most of them are dead. But yeah, live phytoplankton, especially if you can get the blend that is still alive, but it's the blend of all the different colors, red, green, yellow, orange, brown, all that. That is amazing. That's like coral superfood. It can fluctuate the nutrients in your tank, sometimes up, sometimes down, just depends. One of the companies that I deal with is called Bulldog Reef. There's a code that you can use, RRWL15. So Reef Rookies with Logan 15, you get 15% off a bottle. He has a phytoplankton blend that is brown, but the reason it's brown is because it's like 4 or 5 other species all mixed together. He mixes them up, ships them to you, good to go. Coral superfood. 132 gallons. Oh God, I was way off. So now, considering the fact that I was so far off, some of those tangs that I mentioned are not going to work. The smaller ones, the bristle tooth tangs and stuff, they're going to be fine. I might not put a sail fin in a 125 gallon because they do get big, but they take a really long time to get there. So if you had any plans for ever upgrading to a bigger tank, it might be okay. A yellow and a purple, I'd be okay with those. A Scopus, I would be okay with those. Definitely not an Achilles. And I don't remember what other ones I said. So anyway, yeah, 3.78 liters per gallon. Oh, thank you very much. I should probably commit that to memory. I probably won't, even if I try. Sometimes numbers like that just don't stick. A single malt can help with a sore throat. The problem is it's not a sore throat. My throat's messed up. And it's from content creation and stuff. My doctor was telling me that I literally speak incorrectly. And it's because I talk up here instead of down here with my normal vocal folds. It's like I speak with my false cords. So my throat is extremely tired and basically exhausted all the time is what they've told me. So if I don't talk in this voice, this is the tone that I'm supposed to speak in, but it doesn't feel natural to me. And it's really weird and it's really deep and I can only get out 2 or 3 words. So doing the exercises, this is how they've told me I should talk, but this sounds like crap on camera. So I speak like this because it doesn't actually hurt my throat, but it also hurts my throat. So there's a demonstration on why my throat is messed up. Lyre tail anthias are very cool. Yep. I prefer the look of blue lighting for coloration on corals. If I cut down the whites on my lights, will it negatively impact anything like my RBTA torches or hammers? No. So lighting is very subjective. Corals are very adaptive. They can withstand a large range of things. So the way that I tell people to set their lights is you want to target a range of par values that are going to be correct for the corals you want to keep in your tank. And I'm going to explain this a little bit differently in a minute. How you achieve that par value is up to you, if you use more blues or more whites or whatever. However, a tank that has very high lighting in the whiter spectrums and also doesn't have a cleanup crew that can support the algae growth that you're going to get from that white light is going to have algae problems. Everything is a balance. So if you want to run more white light, you're going to have more herbivores. Sorry. If you move your spectrums down towards the bluer spectrums, you can probably get away with less cleanup crew. I was trying to think of what the other implication was, but the tank is going to look less natural. So it's just, it really just depends. You can get 150 to 300 par from blue lights, and you can get them from white lights. If you are currently running blue lights and you want to transition to more of a wider spectrum, do it slowly over a few weeks. Don't go quickly with it. 4.5 liters to an imperial gallon, 3.78 liters to a freedom unit gallon. Oh man, why can't we all just be on the metric system? It's so superior. It's superior in every single way. It really is. To the bubble bath comment. Oh, I missed the bubble bath comment. Hey, Daryl Lambert's here. That's Tina's husband.
Okay.
Yeah, Daryl and Tina. Hey, Daryl, how you doing? Hope you guys are doing well this Sunday. Hope that all of your tank projects and stuff are moving along. I know y'all got a lot going on over there. And thank you so much for all of your support, you and Tina, through this whole process with, joining the YouTube memberships and the consultations, the paid consultations and everything. Thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate that. And Tara Reef really wishes everything was metric. Yeah, absolutely. I do too. Would you?
Bubble bath thing. Did you see that?
I didn't see the bubble bath thing. They were talking about reef dip, coral dip.
Yeah. Have you tried the new bubble bath coral dip?
Oh.
Dose it to your main tank, and it won't hurt the other things in your tank. They saw a YouTube video on it. C. Cates, or C. Yeah, is who asked that.
I have not tried the new bubble bath. The old bubble bath worked really well as a coral dip. I think, I'm not even going to say that. I think I know what's in that stuff, like the main thing that's in it, but I'm not sure because I haven't analyzed it yet. And I don't think anybody else has either. But the old one worked very well. The new one, I would expect that it would work well. But here's the thing. A lot of people in the hobby are trying to find ways to have things that we can dose to the main display. So a coral dip, for example. How do you do that without affecting other things that are in the main display? How do you target just black bugs? And I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm just talking about the thought process, because we figured it out with flatworms. We can put flatworm exit into a reef tank, full main reef display, and kill all the flatworms. And as long as we get them and the toxins that they produce out, you're good to go. It doesn't have any effect on the rest of the tank. So it's an interesting thought exercise for an organic chemist to come up with something that would kill, let's just say, black bugs on Acropora, or Euphilia eating flatworms without affecting any other part of the tank. It's really interesting. Would you suggest live brine shrimp for feeding or the frozen? Because I know you said live is better. So live brine shrimp specifically would be an exception to the rule in the thing that I said where almost everything is live better. So yeah, I guess it didn't, period. Or bar none. You can make live brine shrimp better by gut loading them, but the brine shrimps themselves don't have very much nutritional value. So the frozen ones that we get are almost always gut loaded with like spirulina or some other form of powdered algae. So they grow the shrimp, they get them to their adult size, they put a bunch of algae in the tank, the shrimp eat all the algae, and then they freeze them when their bellies are full of the algae. So the food is using the brine shrimp as a vector to get the algae into the fish. It's not really that the brine shrimp themselves are good food, it's everything else. So yeah, I guess when I said everything live is better, that would be the exception. So anyway, much love, Brazil. All right, well, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Happy that you did. Can you dedicate a video to the correct setup and plumbing of an RO system? It's funny you should ask that, because one of the next videos coming soon is all about RODI systems. Having said that, the setup and plumbing is individual to the model. They're all different. So how you go about setting it up and plumbing it into your house is going to be very different. And it would be hard to make a video about that, but I'm going to try to cover as much as I can for sure. Base 60 is the most efficient. We still use it for angles and measuring time. Base 60 was invented by the Babylonians. It is better than base 10 because it has more numbers to divide by.
Yes, it is.
Weren't we just watching something the other day?
Yes, I was, because I go through.
Yeah, we watched all this stuff like, I want to say Ancient Aliens, but I mean, we've seen that, but
No, I'm very
this is, what was, that was, it's the dude, we go to sleep to it. Graham Hancock. Yeah, he was.
I don't know I don't think that's where it was from. It was from something else, but yes, I definitely agree with them.
Anyway, he was talking about the Mayans, I believe. The Mayans had like a base 20, and they could do complicated math way faster than we can because of the base 20. So yeah, base 60, I mean, that's a different thing too. That one's on the schedule for after wrap. Oh yeah, the RODI video, yeah. Professor Polyps.
Ancient Apocalypse. Yes.
Ancient Apocalypse. That's the one. It's a good program. I mean, it opens the mind up to some possibilities that maybe you had never thought about before. Doesn't have anything to do with reef tanks, but that's okay. We can talk about other stuff too. It's Professor Polyps. The ingredients are hydrogen peroxide, limonene, vinegar, RODI water, and sodium hydroxide. That's kind of what I thought. So I don't know what limonene is. I've never looked into that before, but hydrogen peroxide, vinegar, obviously RODI water, and sodium hydroxide are all things that we can dose to reef tanks. Some of those are things that we know can help us control problems. Some feed bacteria. I guess some might annoy the bugs that are on a coral and make them release from the coral and then get filtered out in some way. Maybe I don't know how you're dipping coral in the main display, killing the problem and not hurting anything else. Yeah, it's an interesting thought thing. Polyp extension for SPS overrated. No, I wouldn't say it's overrated, because polyp extension indicates healthy corals. SPS that doesn't, I'm sorry about the little smack that I'm doing every now and then. I get this Jolly Rancher in. But my throat feels better. SPS that doesn't have any polyp extension is probably not as healthy as it should be. So yeah, no, polyp extension is not overrated at all. Now, if you have normal polyp extension, trying to achieve God tier polyp extension, yes, that's overrated. Unless you're just trying to push your corals to the absolute limit, I don't see why you would need to do that. Can't wait for the RODI video. Right now, my DI resin gets exhausted after only making 50 gallons. My source water comes from my water softener system, which I think would extend the life more. That depends on how your water softener system functions, what it uses to soften the water. Sometimes it can have the opposite effect and it can cook through DI resin. You can do an ICP test on your water out of the tap coming out of your water softener, just out of your kitchen or something. You could ICP test that, the Oceamo MS one, and see what all is in that water. Because some things that can come through those systems will burn DI out really fast. High carbon dioxide will also cook DI resin super fast. So those are a couple of things to look for, but I have heard people having that problem with water softeners. I'm struggling with the auto off on with the RO system. Ideas on filter order and auto shut off and plumbing order. Oh. I don't use automatic systems to turn my RO unit on and off. Do you have your RODI connected straight to your auto top off? Answer that question and let's go from there, please. This person said, yo, bro, your face the same as Garrett Dewana. I guess I look like Garrett Dewana. Whoever that is, I don't know who that is. What's really weird is since I've been doing this, a lot of people see my face. And over the last year, there's probably been, I'm sorry, there's a pretty bird outside. I got distracted. There's probably been 3 people have sent me pictures of other people, and it is weird how close me and a few other people look to one another. It's weird. Yeah, anyway. Got the rock flower out of the cup. Nice. It's settling into its little nook. Thanks for the help. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Great. I love rock flower anemones. They're so cool. I was considering at one point making this tank nothing but rock flower anemones. Just a big tank with nothing but those. I think that would be really cool. It might still happen one day. I don't know. We got a 5-gallon over here.
Oh, just nothing but the pulsating zinnias.
My wife wants one with nothing but pulsing zinnia in it, which is also cool. Got nothing against pulsing zinnia. I have it in the wine glass. Usually in a reef tank, there's too many nutrients, and it just goes absolutely crazy and fills the whole tank up. But it is what it is. I'm going to go off camera for a minute. Enjoy my aquarium. I'll be right back. Man, that Jolly Rancher helped so much, which is weird. But yeah, they can hear me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a whole bag. John got a whole bag. Yeah.
I'm going to let my voice rest for just a minute before we go back to it. How much time do we have?
40 minutes.
Okay, that's we're doing pretty good. I am going to take.
There should be a green apple towards the top.
Yep. I'm going to take 2 more of those and put them over there. Maybe this is the trick.
Yeah.
While I stream, because it definitely helped my throat a bit. And I don't know why, but I also speak very loudly when I'm making content and I'm streaming. I don't know why I do that. I feel like I got to scream because you guys are way over there. But this microphone is actually pretty sensitive and I don't have to. The answer, thank you for the answer on the bubble bath. I meant to ask, how's the shade coming along for the Viper Spectra? Okay, so I got my design done and it works great. The problem is that USPS keeps freaking crushing them. And they're very expensive to make and they don't reimburse you for shipping when they crush something. So we are recently shipping out of a new post office instead of the one that we were using. That seems to have helped a bit. So we might put the Viper Spectra shades back up on the Etsy store pretty soon. But I'm also making some modifications to the design to make it stronger as well. So yeah, that's the status on that. Hey, what's up, man? Wild Wolf is in the comments. Okay. Happy to see you here, Mike. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you're doing good, my friend. So Wild Wolf Workshop in the comments down there. Me and that guy have been friends since we were kids. Little. I can't even remember how long it's been. Grade school for sure. But yeah, I hope you're doing good. I have an absolute a-hole of a cinnamon clown. Yeah, those things they go together. That species, yeah. My son is 6. And I've been building a tank for the clown and a NIM for him at his mother's. How long does it need to be in a different tank for it to reset? I don't completely understand your question. Could you clarify a little bit, Lyle? I'm not sure that I get you. It probably won't reset. Once they become jerks, they're kind of always jerks. When I sung in a band, I always had butterscotch candies with me. Yeah. No, oh yeah, I see what you're saying, Lyle. Yeah. Moving to the different tank, it can reset the territorial boundaries for sure. That is a method that we use with reef tanks to kind of help with that. But it'll probably go back to being a jerk. It's just in their nature. They're just an aggressive clownfish. It's just what they do. Just don't stick your hand in there too much. Got your kid this weekend. That's cool. I'm glad you're going to get to spend time with the kiddo. Then it can stay at his mom's. Yeah. Oh man. So what else is going on? What other questions do you guys have? What else do we have to talk about? Anything fun and new coming? There's a really cool thing that I've been working on with someone else and now a third person for over a year that is getting close to coming to the end area. I can't say anything more than that. This guy says, please help me, please. Okay. What question do you have? Oh, wow. He's 3, Mike. Man, time flies for sure. I am going to Reefapalooza. Me and my wife will be there at Reefapalooza Orlando. We'll be in the Sea Cardinal booth. I'll be there all day. She probably won't be, but she said she's going to get a tattoo. I want to go get a tattoo. When do I get a tattoo? I keep spending money on fish stuff. But yeah, we're going to be at Rap Orlando. Oh, wow. I saw that. Yeah. Okay. Aquashella Dallas is a maybe. Reefapalooza California is still up in the air. That would be a pretty expensive trip for us to take. And we'd probably have to dip into our savings for that one. But that one's still up in the air. California is a long way away. How long was the flight?
The flight's not bad because it's nonstop. It's like 4 hours, 4 hours.
4? Oh, really?
But yeah, I don't know. It's probably longer than that because of the time difference. So
yeah,
probably
6 to 8 hour flight. That's not terrible. The longest flight that I've ever done was 21 hours, and it was coming back to the States from South Korea. That was a long flight. Oh, here we go. Reef question. 3D printing algae turf scrubber. Will you design and sell them or the STL file? So here's the thing. I don't sell my files ever. I have had bad results selling files because the day after I sold someone a file, it ended up on Thingiverse for free. And I know it was mine because it had my name on it. So I don't sell files anymore, but it's not impossible that I would design something like that and offer it up. But a turf scrubber has to be watertight unless you're going to be putting it like over a sump or something like that. So I'd really have to think about how to design that efficiently. That's another thing that I don't do. I don't look at other people's designs and then just copy them and say, hey, here's my thing. Everything that I design it completely from scratch. Road trip to Cali? Absolutely not. No, thank you. No, that's not happening. What is the smallest, best tang that's completely SFR, safe for reef? I would have to say probably a 2-spot bristle tooth. They don't get very big, about 4 inches, maybe 4.5. I have a mature tank with a very light bioload. Hair algae has been a problem even with low nutrients. Do you think a protein skimmer could keep the algae at bay? Thank you. Grazing, no. A protein skimmer is not going to help your algae problem, especially if you already have low nutrients. Adding a protein skimmer could potentially cause you more issues by stripping the available nutrients that you do have out of the tank, which could create a situation where you're now fighting algae and dinoflagellates or cyanobacteria. So no, I would not recommend that you do that. Green hair algae usually indicates a lacking cleanup crew. If the nutrients are low, that could also be a false measurement because the green hair algae is drawing up all the available nutrients and sequestering them within their body during growth. So it might not be that your tank is actually low nutrient. It might just be getting sucked up by the algae. Depends on how much of it there is. Unfortunately, you're going to have to do a lot of manual removal because most things that eat GHA don't eat it once it's long. They'll eat it when it's just growing. But once it's 3, 4, 5 inches long, they don't really mess with it anymore. Even stuff like sea hares and urchins and stuff like that. So don't strip any more nutrients. Make sure your cleanup crew is correct for the tank, at least one cleaner of some kind per gallon, and manually remove as much as possible to get it as short on the rocks as possible to allow the cleaners to do their thing. Might need to post on Facebook with full parameters, but I'm always struggling with low alk, phos, pH, nitrate, salinity, everything else seems to be in range. Calcium is often high. Yeah, do a Facebook post in the group with all your water parameters, what salt you're using, what you're using to check your salinity, is it calibrated, like all that stuff. Give as much information as you possibly can. I think that would be a better question for that space. Thank you, though, for the question. I appreciate it. I have a design. Do you want it? My printer pooped the bed. Sure. Yeah, Lyle, if you don't mind, send it over. I mean, anything like that, if you send me a design, you know, I mean, I'll always credit you for the initial design if you came up with it. You know, something like that. To the best of my ability, I will, if I decide to do something with it and run it. Satsuma, I like a road trip, but would take way too long. Yeah, there's no way I could do a drive to California. That's going to be a 3 or 4 day drive, and my back's just not going to stand up to it. By the time we got there, I'd have to lay down for a week. Yeah, Reef Keeper said they've done it. Yeah, Alexandria, no way. To LA, whew. I have a 75-gallon and the pumps I got. Can y'all hear the dog barking? Just curious. I have a 75-gallon and the pumps I got can do 3,400 gallons each. Should I run both at 30% in master slave or run one at 40 to 50 for the SPS? So are you talking about your wave makers or are you talking about pumps in your sump? What is Mike talking about?
I deleted the comment.
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah. Don't feed the alligators, Mike.
They hear the pupper.
Do you hear the puppers? Okay, yeah. I mean, he's literally through an entire wall with a door and stuff. I just didn't know if y'all be able to hear him. But yeah, with those pumps, the goal. See, I'm talking really loud again. Why do I do that? The goal with a reef tank for the flow inside the tank from the wave makers is anywhere from 20 to 50 times the total water volume. So 20 to 50 times 75, whatever that's going to be. If it was 10, it would be 750 gallons. So 20 is going to be 1,400 gallons per hour up to about 5,000 or something like that. Don't do math on camera, okay? It was time for another Jolly Rancher. But really, it's just going to depend on what kind of a flow path. You don't have a sump? Okay. Yeah, so it's just going to depend on what kind of flow path you have in your tank. So take mine back here, for example. I've got a gyre here, and I've got a gyre on the other end up near the top. So this one blows across the top of the surface, creating a rolling wave like this. This one blows up almost right here. So as this flow is coming across, this one turns on and hits this and creates this rolling sort of flow like that through the tank. It really just depends on your rock setup and all of that stuff, how you get your flow. Flow is a very hard thing to quantify, which is why I haven't done a video on it yet. Hey, this is only my second Jolly Rancher, man. But I'll tell you what did happen. Because of this issue, I was eating cough drops like they were candy. Literally, I would go through like one of them big bags every week. And my bad cholesterol went through the roof. My doctor was like, you have to do something about this right now. And I was like, I don't eat unhealthy, not bad, you know. I mean, like, I get fast food sometimes, but most of what we eat, we cook, you know, and it's not heavy, fatty stuff anyway, long story. It turned out to be the cough drops. So when I have cough drops now, I have to get the sugar-free ones. Otherwise, it sends my bad cholesterol through the roof. The pups are doing, I don't know if.
I already.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I answered it, yeah.
So I'm glad we were talking about stripping the water. We're jumping around a bit, guys, so I apologize, but we're having to talk and get answers. So I'm glad we were talking about stripping water. I'm pretty sure I did, accidentally trying to be perfect. What should I do when I have no nitrate or phosphate? In that situation, I would recommend that if you need to, okay, so here's what you can do with nitrates and phosphates. If you need them to go up, you can either import more in the way of food, stuff like that, feed the fish heavy, whatnot. You can filter less, so take a skimmer offline. Don't change your filter socks as often, things like that, or stop doing water changes, or you can dose nitrate and phosphate. And there's lots of different products you can do. You can even DIY them. So yeah, it's that's about what you could do for that. What kind of fish is that? The photo bomber. He's beautiful. Which one? They all do it. It's the one that does it the most is a sailfin tang, and there's two different kinds. There's like a common, I think it's a Pacific one, if I remember correctly, sailfin, and then there's the other kind, which is what this one is, and it's called a Desjardins, Desjardini, Desjardins. I think I'm saying that right. I'm probably not, but that's what this one is. They have a different stripe pattern. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Yeah. Losing a pupper is never good. So, what else, babe? What else we got going on?
Your videos for people who would rather read articles rather than watch.
Oh, yeah,
videos.
Yeah. So
Reefing Insights.
We started releasing Reefing Insights recently, which is what we're calling our blog. It is on the website, reefrookies.com, if for those of you who prefer to read rather than to watch YouTube videos.
Or if you'd rather go back and be able to skim the information.
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah, it's a summary of the videos. So if you remember that I made a video on ick and you don't want to watch the whole video again, you want to go skim read, those are available on the website. So that's pretty cool. Will a sail fin fit in a 140-gallon, 5-foot wide tank? It'll fit in there. I was being a little bit silly just then, but I personally wouldn't put that fish in that tank. It is eventually, after 3 or 4 years, going to outgrow that tank and just be too big. This is a 6-foot, 180. And even this tank with that sail fin, where's he at? He's right there. Right there. Even this tank with that fish at the size that he is, he will get the zoomies and do loops around this 6-foot tank. So I can't wait to get a bigger tank. Have I showed you guys the plan for the bigger tank? I know some of you have probably seen it. You gonna grab it? Check this out. So this is what we're planning on doing. And by planning, I mean we're talking about it and hope we can do it one day. So this is a 2-scale representation of this end of my house. That shaded gray area right there is the 180-gallon tank behind me. And this is the tank that we want to build. This one is 1,400 gallons. It's 12 feet down this one and 10 feet this way. Now I have decided that I want to cut this corner off and make the corner deeper. So it's going to add another 400 gallons probably. It's going to end up being about 1,800. It's going to literally make a fish room inside the aquarium where I'm sitting right now doing this live stream. So anyway, yep, that's the plan for the future. But hopefully we can get there and we can do that one day. All right, Mike, take it easy, man. It was good to talk to you for a bit. Be careful, drive safe, all that good stuff, dude. Oh, it didn't even register in my brain why you said 20 minutes, but now I get it. Yeah, we got 20 minutes left on the live stream, guys. So anything that you want to talk about, let's go ahead and drop those questions. If you're here and you're just listening and you don't know me and you don't haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that, please. Will you be at Reefapalooza in Cali in August? It's up in the air. We were just talking about that. We want to go, but we are going to Reefapalooza Orlando at the end of this week. And then I have several like big projects that need to get finished. And California's, that's quite a thing. Oh man, you see Reef Keeper's comment? He said, better break out your wallet for that tank. I'm 30 grand in on an 8-footer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why it's a dream and not a plan.
Nothing wrong with dreams.
Yeah, nothing wrong with dreams. I am hoping if that happens that there will be some companies that will want to help sponsor the build. Obviously, they're going to want exposure and it'll be on the YouTube videos and all that stuff. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't actually know. I mean, I'm sure someone can build that tank, but I don't know right now who it would be. You know, I was talking to, I really wanted it to be glass. So I was maybe thinking about talking to Joe at Glass Cages, but I don't think they could do that out of glass. No, I will not shout your channel out. And listen, before we delete your comments, I want to give you a little bit of advice as what I would consider as a successful YouTube creator. Getting people to shout your channel out, especially in a niche that you are not in, is one of the worst things that you can do for your channel. Don't do that. You are going to destroy your channel before you ever even get it started. Make good content. That's all you have to do. Okay, now we're going to delete those messages. They would probably have to build it on site. That's what I told my wife last night. They're probably going to have to plan it, make the cuts, come here and build it. You know, which
Matt asked if you still needed the measurements for the Smat Farm 95 light.
I do need the measurements for the Smat Farm 95. Thank you, Matt. I actually have that written down. I just haven't got to it. I don't have an excuse. That's just the reason. There's so much stuff going on right now. I just haven't got to it yet. It's
your 3D printers stay hot printing things that are going out.
Yeah, right. I'm literally at the point where I'm probably going to end up having to get a 4th 3D printer. They go on sale in July, through the middle June or July. Bamboo Labs has a big sale, and their printers are always $250, $300 off. So I'm going to have to pick up another one when they go down here in the summer, because right now all 3 printers stay cooking, which is not a bad problem to have. It means that I'm making product and selling product, but I don't have time to R&D. Well, if I make a new light shade or whatever, sometimes it's a week before I can print one to see how it fits and stuff. It's crazy, but it's getting there. It's getting there. What we need to do now is we need to figure out how to 3D print way faster. We've gotten fast, but I mean really good quality and like ludicrous speed. That's what we need now. What dream about dreams? What is your dream fish to own? Ooh, see, that's really hard for me to answer because I don't have a dream fish. I like them all. I just want all of them. That would be my dream, is to be able to get all of the fish that I want. If I had to pick one fish, right now it would probably be a powder brown tang, which I know sounds not very wowing or whatever, but I really like that fish. And that's the other one that I want for the tank behind me is a powder brown. I've had a powder blue, and they're super cool, but I've never had a powder brown. So I would like to have one of those. What type of lid do you use? Top lids looks great, but expensive. I'm interested in the evap covers to save on RODI water. I don't use any lids on my tanks. I have a canopy on this tank that closes completely. Obviously, that's not going to be helpful to you. If I were to get a lid of some kind, it would either be that one that you mentioned, top lids, or it would be one from Kraken Reef, also quite expensive, but very nicely put together. Or I would DIY a mesh lid myself. Clearview, hadn't heard of them before. Do you prefer a gyre or a propeller wave maker for a cube? I've been trying to decide between an XF330 or a Nero. Nero 100% of the way for a cube. Absolutely. This is an FX350, and it will blow a stream of water all the way across this 6-foot tank. And another thing about those FX gyres, they don't ramp up and down very fast. So you can't get that pulsing, swaying kind of thing like this. If you want your corals to do this, you can't get that from that gyre. Now, will it make an absolute butt ton of flow in your tank? Yep, it will. Probably way too much, way more than you want. Go with the Nero 5 for sure. Did you make that rockscape behind you? I did indeed. I sure did. It took about 2 weeks. Of course, I was also recovering from back surgery at the time. But yeah, it took about 2 weeks. This rock down here in the middle is it's bigger than a bowling ball. It won't fit into a 5-gallon bucket, the big main rock down here. And I used a hammer and flattened off the bottom, just knocked little bits and chunks off until the bottom was mostly flat. And then I siliconed that rock down to the glass in the tank with 2 entire 16-ounce tubes of aquarium silicone. And so I stuck the main rock down, and then just slowly started building off of the main one. And it took about 2 weeks. Spotted filefish pair spawning. Hey, that's cool. While I was placing my zoa I got yesterday, I noticed an aptasia and a vermitid snail mixed with it. How do I deal with these? Take the frag out, break the vermitid snail off the frag with some flat tool like a butter knife or something like that. And for the aptasia, cover it up with super glue gel and then put the frag back in the tank. That's going to be your best chance at not hurting the coral, but taking care of the problem. The tank would be a monster. Yes, it would be. It will be a monster. It'll have 21 linear feet of swimming room. So for tangs that want to do loopies, they get the zoomies, they'll have all the room for that. We have about 600 gallons total of salt water, and our dehumidifier pulls out over 10 gallons of water every 24 hours in the summer. How are you going to mitigate humidity? We haven't got that far. Most likely, actually, I kind of have got that far, but yeah. The tank is going to be floor to ceiling, so it's basically going to create a fish room where most of the humidity is going to be contained. And my thought process was to use some sort of ventilation fan, like a bathroom vent fan or something like that, that will exhaust that air to the outside, and also combine that with some form of automation so that when it detects a certain level of humidity, it kicks the fan on and ventilates the room. That's as far as I've gotten. I've not looked at products that can do that, or if it's even possible. I'm sure it is. Yeah, we haven't got there yet. But that was my initial plan. And then it also, if need be, add a dehumidifier. But with all of that being said, our house never gets above 72, 73 in the summer. So the humidity from like evaporation and stuff, yes, it's going to be more because it's a monster tank, but the house doesn't get really hot. So hopefully that's going to keep down on some of it. But I've not figured out all of the ways that everything is going to happen yet. And I imagine a lot of those things are not going to happen until it happens. And then I'll have to figure out a solution for it. But I'm trying to think about everything ahead of time. But we're not even close. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to happen before we ever actually get to the point of building that tank. It's going to be super cool, though, if we're able to do it. What else? I'd love to have a cuttlefish tank. The setup is a bit complicated. The problem that I have with cuttlefish, because I think it would be cool to have cuttlefish too. The problem that I have is they only live a year. And that's if you do everything perfect. They live for a year, and then they lay their eggs, and then they die. And that's just kind of sad. I don't want to get attached to a cuttlefish named Bob, and then Bob kicks it in a year, and I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? Ralph. Somebody's. Yeah. Sean's got a powder brown, best attitude and always acting goofy. Very cool. Let's see. What else we got? What did you glue the two rocks together with? I swapped from a 20 to my 40. So I used super glue gel. Basically is cyanoacrylate, a thick formulation, cyanoacrylate from Amazon with Bob Smith Industries Instaset. So when you put the super glue on there, you squirt it with this stuff, dries it right then. And that was just to hold them in place. And then I went back and used E. Marco 400 mortar around all of those connections to make them permanent. I have a video on my channel about that. If you look back through my video list, or if you search my channel for the word E. Marco, you'll find that video. And that's how I did it. It works really well. He lives in Louisiana. It's already 99% humidity there. The tank will make no difference. Yeah, you do have a point. The humidity here is high.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. I'm coughing. All right, I'm going to walk over here for a sec. I'm going to come back, and then we're going to wrap this puppy up. Don't wrap your puppy up. That was not a recommendation. Unless it's a love blanket, and then wrap your puppy in love. Okay, coming back. Here I come. So, yeah, the eMarco mortar works really well. It's basically pure Portland cement. So if you can get Portland cement that is pure, you can use that to do your rock structure just like this. We really have to start going through these live streams and picking out shorts.
Yeah.
Because that little blurb just right then about eMarco, that's a short, you know.
Well,
But
I have access now, so I can start trying.
Yeah, but these things are 3 hours. You got to dig through them.
I like tedious projects.
She does like tedious work. I do not. But yeah. Oh, wait. Liked your video the other day about marine velvet. I have 2 fish that have ick and decided to do tank transfer. Let's hope they pull through. It'll work. It'll work. As I mentioned in the videos, I'd rather shoot myself in the foot than do the tank transfer method, but it will work as long as you have your timing right. Yeah, it'll work. Have you seen the new rock bonding method people are using now? It's basically adding dry mortar and hitting it with super thick super glue, creates a chemical reaction. Huh? No. What I have seen, oh yes, I have. It's not mortar. It's baking soda. And unless you're talking about something else, you can use baking soda and regular not thick super glue, the super thin stuff. And you can put baking soda in a thing or on a thing, and you put that really thin super glue on it, and that has a chemical reaction immediately and becomes hard as a rock. But I didn't know that you could do it with mortar and the thick super glue. That's new. That's a new one to me. So thin, not thick. Oh, you created yourself. It's mortar. Reef Dude did a video on it. Ah, okay. No, I hadn't seen that, but that's cool. Very interesting. Might be a new thing to look into. I mean, if he did a video on it recently, I'm not going to try to do another one, you know. Have her sit there and clip the whole live and choose which you want. Oh, I forgot we can clip things. You would think I was a professional content creator. I just have to remember how we have to do that. I don't know if she has to be signed in to my live, like signed in on the back end, which she can do. We're going to thank you. Thank you very much. Because then all I've got to do is go, hey, clip that. And you hit a button and it records the last 30 seconds. Duh. What an idiot. Me, I mean. I did, Kimberly. I did. I added that $50 level. I don't think I changed anything perk-wise because I didn't have a lot of time to really sit there and think about it. So I think the perks are the same as the $25 membership. It's just you are a more awesome person. So that's cool. Clipping. Oh yeah, we're off topic now, and that's fine. We're gonna probably be off topic for the next 7 minutes until the end. But clipping is a double-edged sword, because if you start uploading more shorts than long form, then your channel gets shown to people who only care about shorts, and the monetization on that is trash. You have to have hundreds of millions of views to make any decent money at it. Long form is definitely better, and it's more of what I like to present, because all of this is very complicated, you know? So anyway, clipping is a good thing. There are ways to employ shorts, which is what I'm doing right now. Like I dropped one earlier today talking about Brooklynella with the related video to the long form that I just made. But anyway, let's finish up with a couple of questions about reef tanks. and then we're going to kick this bucket and get out of here. Thank you for everything you do. I'm visiting Australia right now. Oh, cool. No problem, Clumsy. I'm not planning on stopping doing this anytime soon. So there's going to be other shows. We're already talking about doing the one in Charlotte next year. We might switch it up and do Aquashella next year instead of Reefapalooza. I don't know. We're just going to have to see how everything goes. If the channel blows up, which would be amazing if it did, that could change some things. So we'll just have to see what happens. So all good things. Everything is growing kind of at a steady rate, which is good. Getting too big too fast is also very stressful and difficult to manage. So
yeah, we're managing well with what we have. So.
Yeah, we're managing well with what we have now. Once the channel, and the group hits 100,000 people, stuff like that, I'm probably going to have to start paying employees to help run things. And that's just the progression of it. So, maybe it'll get there one day. Let's see. If you have questions on live streaming, I might be able to help. Great stream, by the way. Very important. Thank you so much. Fishbowl lights. Nice.
Lights.
Yeah, like that name. All right, Cody. You'll see one of my dumb questions posted in the group here soon. There's no dumb questions. All good questions. Slow and steady is organic. Yes, that is correct. Too big, too fast equals bad. Tina, well, hi. Where you been? Tina's in the chat.
I see her.
Yeah. Sandy said hello. So hope you were able to catch the live. We pushed it back an hour this week to try to let some of the people who have other activities going on Sunday mornings maybe try to get in and join the live. So we pushed it back. I think it worked well. So I think we'll keep that. Tina's plumbing and listening. Gotcha. Well, good luck with the plumbing. And we're going to call it, everybody. I'm tired. It's been 3 hours, and that's my limit for sure. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you watch my videos. Turn the notification bell on. Well, that was an interesting comment, but whatever. Good Lord. All right. Check the website, reefrookies.com, because we have all kinds of other things: Discord, TikTok, Instagram, the Facebook group, a blog. Yeah, all that stuff's there. So check that out if you haven't. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Boop. I missed it. Boop.